All right, now we want to turn those raw resources into the more valuable refined materials we saw the process talked about earlier with Thorsten. Of course, we want this. It is our refinery. Once again, there are multiple types here. This one is the large solid matter refinery. We have liquid and gas again, as well as biological, depending on the type of materials that you're using and want to produce. Refinery has input and output grids. For input, as you might expect, it's for the resources which you're going to consume, and then the output is for the resulting refined goods. This is determined where you select which blueprint you want to use, and therefore which type of refining
method you make a blueprint, and then based on the materials you put in, all materials will have like, I guess, poor, medium, and high quality. So high quality gives you better, faster fire rates on guns,
and our refinery, so
entire
we're gonna put
ships
down
as well.
Our elevator storage.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Crafting ships.
Yep.
Cool.
Base is really starting to build up now, but it's worth
so
me mentioning
ships are
again
better
here
than
that
bot ships, I guess.
whilst we're putting these buildings down instantly in this video, large structures like this, they will take some time with the automated construction drones, but the smaller scale base we saw in the previous video, that can be done in a single play session.
Cool,
Good, I'm
dude.
glad it doesn't take too long to make bases. That's the time and money sink that's worth.
Mm-hmm. 0 to Hero's getting crazy, bro.
Ooh, I love this view.
Yeah, and this is all concept view, I think.
We'll just keep on putting down more extractors because we want as much as that valuable resource out the ground as quick as possible.
Who was flying in
with
that? Was that
base
a
building,
drone?
we're introducing the concept of a freight elevator network. What this will allow you to do is it will allow you to link multiple freight elevators together, and in turn they will share the same storage. So as we're doing here, we'll deposit an item on freight elevator A.
That's cool. Dude, what?
And then we're retrieving it on freight elevator B. There is a distance limit, but you can daisy chain the elevators together to extend that. And it has to all be contained within the same base.
Did he say you could or could not extend the range by daisy chaining?
You can, but it has to stay within the base.
Okay.
Now, as we expand, we might want to invite more people to join us. This is easy to do. There will be permissions that we can set up, granting people access to our base, and they can even build their own structures if they wish. We can also give them access to existing structures, which is how you can form your org storage using those freight elevators.
I think these are people. They're supposed to be. Dude, look at that. Holy cow.
Now, we always want a safe place to store our ships.
Yes.
So the trusty hangar will do.
That's big enough for a Starfarer.
This is Star Citizen.
Wow, this
See, it has this large, we call it a foundation tile. It's quite special in that it can actually deform the terrain around it, making it easy to place such a huge structure like this. You can also place other buildings on it, so it's easy for making large, sprawling bases.
This is cool.
However, there is one final piece of the puzzle that we need to achieve our goal, and it is this, our very own fabrication hangar.
Fab hangar.
Does anyone want to guess what we're going to build in the fabrication hangar? An Idris, maybe not an Idris, if I'm honest.
Dude, you should have seen, like, the small
We'll have
base
a drive
is like
around,
a
we'll
hover
go to the
cart.
entrance and we'll see what's in store for us.
Hover cart crafting thing. And the next one they showed was that giant building with an observation deck. That thing.
I'll have to go back and see for sure. Luckily, I'm only 30 minutes out of the loop.
Yeah. You're not missing much.
Look how fast those are. Nice. Having a responsive server.
Yeah. If only.
Looks like whatever it is, it's just about finished crafting.
It's gonna be a new ship.
Oh, dude. What
Oh, it's a Zeus. I want to see one.
Of course, we were going to build ourselves a ship.
Sweet. How do we...
So, quick recaps of the gains from industrializing. We've tapped into the brand new resources, and we've made use of them by turning into the more valuable refined materials. We've introduced freight elevator networks, which are great for logistics and hauling. And then we've created our fabrication hangar, which allows us to craft big valuable items such as ships. Now, ships are valuable because you can fly them, you can play content with them, but because they are a crafted item, they can also be sold to other players.
Ships can be? Holy cow.
There's the suit locker thing.
So, with base building, you're going to be able to set up your own shops, and there's two main ways you can do this. The first is using a dedicated trading terminal. You can link these to your freight elevators, and in turn, any items within can be listed for sale at a price you deem reasonable. This includes resources, refined materials, and so on. Using the terminal, visiting players can browse what's on offer, purchase, and then collect from that same freight elevator. The second method is to set up a physical shop in the world. By using the decorator AR we saw earlier with Luke, you can maglock items and then list them for sale. Once again, browsing players, they can see the price of the maglocked item, purchase it, which then removes the maglock.
Fantastic. I'm so excited. I want to play this now.
Of course, the nice thing with physical shops is you can genuinely make it feel like a store. You can put items on shelving. You can even go as far as to make your own ship showroom. You can advertise your wares on a Mobi Pass for UEC. However, it is important to note that the point of purchase will always occur at the base itself. Now that we know how to set up shop, I just want to take a moment to talk about why it's so impactful for crafting and base building the game as a whole. Understandably, throughout this presentation, we've been telling you why you want to craft all these things or why you want to build this big base.
You don't need the Kraken.
But maybe you don't have time to build a big base and maintain it. Maybe you want to spend your time doing the missions, you want to do your beacons, that's how you want to make your credits instead. Shops mean that you can benefit from the players who do want to spend the time making those bases or crafting those specialist items, and then you can purchase them from them, which is very important because crafted items using high-quality materials will be the most powerful in the game.
Yes.
On the flip side, if you do specialize, maybe you end up cornering the markets for a particular item or resource, and your shop will then turn into a hotspot of activity, making you loads of credits. Some of you will become infamous because of it. But bear in mind, a successful shop also depends on location. Do you want your customers on edge in Pyro, which tends to have the higher quality materials? Or do you want to spend time hauling them all the way over to safer systems where your customers can be more at peace? We've talked about selling items. Let's sell the look of your base. We have foundation tiles, which can help you divide up the foundation decals, sorry, which help you divide up the foundation tile. You can place them freely wherever you want, and they just help you mark up areas like, I want to use this place for cargo, I want this for housing, vehicles, and so on.
Good,
We'll be able to earn paint in-game and apply them to buildings.
Amazing.
Customers can apply paints and change appearance. Very cool. They only cost $1,200.
As well as add your own custom tech, so if you're part of an org, the blue buildings that have your name are definitely yours.
Okay.
We have some forms of base building which are either still in the design phase or early white box, but we want to share some details. First up, we have farming and ranching. Farming, it comes in two general types. We have our low-tech farming and then high-tech. Low-tech consists of you acquiring the seeds, planting them in the appropriate environment. If you remember back to yesterday, the Brave New Worlds, we had soil types and such now. That'll play a part. As well as supplying them with nutrients and then just harvesting them when they're growing.
Hydroponics.
High-tech, it's a bit more involved because you've got to make the hydroponic buildings we see here, but in return, you'll be able to grow exclusive strains of plants.
Cool.
Ranching will allow you to keep herds of animals. You'll have to provide them with feed, water, and shelter.
Yeah, that's
But in return, they will provide you with produce. Not every animal can be ranched. I don't really see a sandworm ranch anytime soon, but the quasi-grazer will, of course, will. Not yet. Wow. Maybe. No.
Dude, look at the weed.
Come on, they cut that thing way too fast.
We have a few more additional archetypes. We have landing pads, garages, roads, fencing, as well as new variants of structures which you've seen today. For instance, the power generator, there'll be solar power, fusion, geothermal. as well as the XL structure class. If you remember, everything we've seen today, the biggest we've seen today rather, is large. XL is larger than large.
They got walls.
And then you have your defense.
Yes, I want to know how this attack and defend is going to go.
So, in lawful areas, you have varying levels of security provided for you. With max security, you are protected by planetary shield tech. However, in lawless, pyro and the likes, you'll have to provide your own defenses.
Okay.
These come in the form of perimeter walls, shielding, which prevents aerial bombardments, and then a range of automated turrets, such as PDC to shoot down missiles, anti-air, anti-vehicle, and anti-personnel.
Okay.
To round up, whilst we spent this entire time talking about how you can expand a single base, you can, of course, have multiple. These can be across a single planet, moons across multiple systems. There are advantages and disadvantages of locations and base types. For example, in lawful areas, you'll need to buy your land for UEC, pay a tax to be able to build, and then you'll gain protection in return. In lawless, no cost. High chance of better quality materials, but no security to fall back on.
Help smiling looking at
A small
that.
cabin in the woods can be great to set up in a single play session with short build times. However, the large base we just saw will take days, weeks, or even months, depending on how big you want to go. You might want to embark on this endeavor as a team or an org. You can set up a base as an org and own it as the org. For this, there will be permissions available, and you can assign roles and tasks. Ultimately, base building can be your main gameplay loop or a supplementary one, depending on what it is that you value. On that final note, I would like to say thank you on behalf of the crafting and base building teams. We've been very excited to share with you some of the work so far and the vision we have for these systems. But before we go, we have one final video.
All right, yes.
Whether we're going to see any water vehicles.
Oh, that was an interesting cargo. The crate.
Flamer.
Look at this on a hill.
Yeah, look at that. Oh, gentlemen. Look at that. Look at that up. That's huge. Look at those orbital cannons. Holy crap. Oh, those are lasers.
Dude, I like the orbital cannon idea, though.
Oh, man, look at all those hangars. Holy crap.
It's better than a city. Who needs a city?
That's basically what the drone space
Thank you. I'd just like to say thank you especially to Kian and Zheng Shui. They worked very hard on this, and you might see that base again later today.
We'll be able to build our own
Stick around.
roads.
Thank you.
So great.
Yep.
Hello, CitizenCon.
I'm going to go back and
I'm
watch that last
Kirsten, your
little bit.
core
Will
tech
you let me
producer,
know when the
and
new
I'm
session
here off
starts?
the back of that amazing presentation with
Yeah,
Colston.
I'll go back
How
and
are
watch
you
it
feeling,
with you because
Colston?
Much better now.
That was an
See if I
incredible
can dupe this. So
view
I can...
to what players can expect next from crafting and base building. Do you want to tell us a bit more about the crafting system and what players can
Oh, wait.
expect
Hey, he's talking about
come next?
crafting.
So I think we talked a lot about that already in the presentation, but it's a really dramatic change, or an exciting change, I would say, to the game, because we give the resources a meaning apart from just a monetary value. Now, even with the quality system that we now implement, there will be also a meaning to scout for like the perfect material.
I do like that.
Of course, you need a bigger variety of the materials to be able to craft the items you need. And especially now with the tiered system that we will introduce, we also give a meaning for you as the crafter or the player you are to invest the time to be the best or the specialist. Because something that is very important to us is that we treat it as a real profession, and we have it as in parallel to all the other professions that we already have.
It'll be
So
interesting to
it's
see
not
if
just about
people
making
actually
the universe more
specialize in-
dense, it's also about making
I
it
feel like
more
there's so many people
interactive
at
and
work.
making everything in it more valuable.
And more meaningful, yeah. So something that is also important for us is that everything that we do for this new feature is that we meaningfully integrate it into the game, so it all makes sense, right? So also with like the recent changes we did to the itemization in 324.2, we also like this is the starting point of all the changes we will be doing for all items, and that the reason why we did those changes were just because of crafting.
So what impact will the crafting system have on orgs?
Well, as also mentioned in the presentation, like we want to see orgs building an empire of crafting or of manufacturing items and being like the get-to point for players to like go to their base and buy in their particular shops the items that they heard that they have the best, for example, FPS weapon for.
And I'm guessing that'll tie in quite well to the biomes we saw yesterday as part of the core engine presentation, right?
The biomes will also heavily affect what we do for crafting, because it also will give us a good opportunity to spread around resources in more interesting places, like the giant forests you saw, right? Mm-hmm. For example, if you have a prospector as a miner, it might not be efficient, or you might not even be able at all to go down into the trees to mine anything that is below it. So you need to grab your ROC or your FPS mining gear to actually grab the resources that you can only find in those particular areas. So yeah, we will benefit a lot from this.
Super excited.
Did they show a mining atlas?
On that note, how has this CitizenCon compared to previous years? You were at LA last year. How is it to be back here in Manchester?
It looks a bit smaller, but I got told it's actually bigger. So yeah, so I really like the location, like the theme it has. I like the community area with the cargo crates. So I think it's really nice. Yeah.
Is there any specific highlights so far for your CitizenCon today and yesterday?
So it's a very subjective take on it, but I really liked our presentation about the orgs and the social stuff, because I'm part of an org myself. So I really looking forward to better tools to organize our trainings, our works, our events.
Those org tools were very, very.
Do you want to give a little shout out to your org whilst you're here on camera?
Yeah, so shout outs to Aras.
Nice one. All right, well, on that note, we're going to throw to Dan.
Question.
He's live.
All right,
The community booth section here at CitizenCon 2954. We are here back, and we are with some old friends. We are here with Test Squadron. And I want to give a quick apology to my good friend O Lefty. Sorry for calling you D Lefty last year. I promise it's not because D is the first letter of my name and I'm a narcissist, but that's probably why. So apologies for that, but awesome. Chrome Ninja, tell us about Test Squadron and why you guys are back here at CitizenCon. What's Test Squadron all about?
Yeah, so Test Squadron, we're the largest gaming org in Star Citizen. We've only got 3,000 people. I think we just checked it the other day. We're just hitting over 23,100. But we're a casual gaming org, and we're here giving away free stuff. We've got all this stuff on the table.
Awesome. There's some cool swag here. We got coasters, we got pins, we got pens, tons of awesome stuff here at Test Squadron. If you guys are looking to join a sort of friendly way to join Star Citizen, Test Squadron is the place to do it. We're going to move on. Thank you so much, Chrome Ninja. We're going to move right along to my good friend Tom Beckhauser. Tom, how's it going?
Hi, Dan. So I'm Tom Beckhauser. I'm
I see
a
your
real-life
thing.
racing driver and Star Citizen
but
Twitch
I
streamer.
don't think it shows
and for this year,
live,
Locust69, Pretty Vanilla, and I decided to make a 1 to 200 scale Banu Merchantman made out of resin.
Yeah, but that's the old
Total
one.
of 26 individual pieces that we assembled, primed,
Here,
sanded,
dummy,
and
stream.
painted.
Tom, this thing looks amazing. I mean, in addition to being a badass race car driver, you're also a badass model maker. This guy, there's nothing he can't do. I see you're giving away some Banu Merchantman little minis.
One day I'll go to
We also have the
CitizenCon.
little, the BMM pins, and we have the Defender mini. Sorry, I got those mixed up.
Handing out the Defender miniatures
I can
and
see.
pixel art. Banu.
Yes, you gave me one.
Today, we got something just as exciting to talk about. But instead of focusing on
throw that up here.
for you, we want to show you the world that you can build. With crafting, we're going to
There's your Banu Merchantman.
to create your own loot,
Yeah.
build your own home. Crafting will fundamentally change not only how you play the game,
Excuse me.
but why you play the game. So, what is crafting? Why does it matter? Why should you be as excited as I am about this? Well, first off, crafting is a profession. It requires its own set of tools, the knowledge of how to use them. Crafting offers progression. You become a better crafter by learning new blueprints and upgrading them. Crafting builds on the existing gathering professions. When you would go out and you collect your materials for crafting, we are adding new depth and meaning to those activities. Crafting provides customization. There isn't just one way to craft something. Like I said, we have upgrades. How you make and upgrade the things you craft is sometimes just as important as what you're crafting. In addition, you can earn cosmetic upgrades, craft unique items, even subscriber flair. But nowhere is this versatility more obvious than base building. We're going to have nearly limitless options for how you construct your home, how to customize your base to meet your own goals. Most importantly, crafting gives you a lot of new choices. The choices will impact your goals in the game, your interactions with other players, and eventually how you see the game itself. So where do we get started with crafting? Well, you can't craft without materials. Luckily, we've got a lot of ways to gather resources in the game. And crafting is designed to complement and expand on all of these existing gathering professions, as well as future additions. Let's take a closer look at mining as an example. We've got hand mining and vehicle mining and ship mining. That's a lot of mining. But with crafting, we're going to introduce a lot of materials. So there's not just more to mine, but we're also going to specialize. So for instance, each type of mining will have its own unique materials to gather. Gathering specific materials efficiently will require you to use the right gathering profession. Let's talk about refining. Currently, only mining resources can be refined, but doing so allows you to turn them into more valuable processed resources. With crafting, we're going to expand refining to include options for all raw materials. In addition to expanding the variety of materials you can gather, refining lets you create processed materials that you're going to need to craft your upgraded blueprints. So now that you've gathered all these materials, what do you do with them? Currently, your only options in the game really are to maybe complete a contract, or maybe complete a contract. Adding crafting into the game radically changes your options. You can still mine, refine, sell your resources, but now you have the option to make valuable and unique items. Weapons, armor, even vehicles and ships. Right?
All right, well, Jared's back on stage.
And by valuable, I mean that the crafted gear that you
change all life in the persistent universe.
Anything you can
just a little bit, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna pause.
There's more of that coming later today, by the way.
Let's see.
Before I get to my deep honor to introduce two of my favorite people, I do want to call out these lovely little note cards here. You've seen many of our presenters and our hosts carrying them here. I have not been carrying mine, and I probably should have. This one just says, "Don't run."
Don't run.
This one says, "Thank Kat and Mandy, but also Tyler and Leah." Guys, can we get a round of applause for Tyler and Leah, please? Tyler, you probably know, is our director of community. Tyler is what we call internally as a product owner. He is the product owner for CitizenCon. So everything that you see here at this event this year is touched in one way, shape, or form by Tyler Wicken. So please give a round of applause for Tyler Wicken. And because Tyler Wiccan can't do anything by himself, Leah is the one who does most of the hard work. So Leah, who will never be on camera and who hates to be embarrassed, please give a round of applause for Leah, please.
Look at that camera rig.
This one just says, learn to stretch. This one says, don't let the intrusive thoughts out. I almost lost it with that rabbit weasel thing yesterday. This one says, hi, Dad. Hi, Dad. And this one says, don't run, crossed out. Don't roll on the stage, dummy.
Did he
All right.
write this?
So that's enough for me. Guys, our next presentation is our annual ships presentation, this year titled Captains of Industry, being presented to you by two people who almost certainly need no introduction, but I'm going to do it anyway. Ben Curtis was born in Manchester. No, I'm just. Vehicle art director Ben Curtis and, gosh.
Chris Roberts?
Oh, I was going to do something really embarrassing. All right. John Crew, you're saved. Come on out, John Crew.
Like, dude, it's like building that up.
I think he actually just forgot his name or something.
You're lucky they didn't wait. You're lucky they didn't wait. Cheers, Mom.
Hi,
I literally
everybody.
think he forgot his name.
It's good to see you all again.
I don't. And then it was waiting for the slide to show it.
Love you too. Excited to be here. In case you don't know me and you weren't listening to Jared there, which I do quite a lot, my name's John Crew. I'm the vehicle director.
My name's Ben Curtis. I'm the vehicle art director.
I have such mixed feelings every time. Let's see.
And the clicker is not working.
Again.
So if you've got technical difficulties.
You have to do a dance, John.
There we go.
There we go. We're good.
Right. So, today we're going to be talking about the vehicles to build your universe. And for those of you that watched the previous presentation, which is awesome about base building and crafting, you should be familiar with the construction grav cart.
That's the cart.
And you've seen how this works. You might be wondering, well, if I've got this, why do I need some vehicles to do things? I know there's going to be some of you that will be perfectly prepared to go push this thing hundreds of kilometers out of the garages at New Babbage. But realistically, you're going to need a ship to put it in. It can't carry supplies by itself, so you're going to need to put supplies in the ship, move them. And it has small drones.
Oh.
And that's the key aspect there. It has 2 small drones on board. And drones all have sizes.
Okay, so, yeah, basically everything you're going to be building in Star Citizen has its size class. A lot of you are familiar with how we class our ships and a lot of other things in our game.
No.
So it ranges from
I think
small
you could kind of see
all the way
them,
up to large and extra large. And our drones kind of fall into those classes as well. But what does it really mean, the difference between what's a small drone, what's a large drone, what's a larger than large and extra large,
Sounds like
and so on. And basically, a medium drone, for example, can build any structure up to a medium size. So it can build smalls, mediums, and it will be able to build small structures faster than what a small drone would. So the size makes difference depending on how big you want to go. But the drones also scale in numbers. In the one drone can only make one structure at a time. So the grav cart's got 2 drones on it, so it'll be able to create 2 small structures. But a medium, or if you've got a vehicle that carries multiple drones, you can craft a lot more structures, a lot bigger sizes, and that's kind of really the key to kind of like the upgrade path through the kind of drone sizes. So we've had a look at the small. So what's next? What do you want to build? A medium.
That's that leaked vehicle.
So I know some of you have already seen it. But, this is the CSV.
I know some of you have already seen it. It's such a cool
launching
guy.
today is the very first ground vehicle from Argo, the Construction Support Vehicle, CSV.
Actual ground.
So this specialized chassis is developed to take on all the conditions on all our planets. It's a little rugged beast that really does just go everywhere. And if you're constructing a new settlement, there's two things you need. You need drones to build it, you need supplies to supply the drones to build it. And that's why the CSV comes in two variants. So we have the CSV FM, which stands for Fabrication Module. So this has 2 medium drones on board, and we built it to fit in as many vehicles as we could practically get it to fit in. So it fits in vehicles from a Cutlass Black upwards. It's approximately, and everyone always asks me, what ship fits in what, and I lose track of it all the time. It's about the size of a Tundra Cyclone. So if you can put a Cyclone in a vehicle, you could put one of these in it.
Cool.
I was thinking it was more like an Ursa size.
Yeah, I'm glad
Obviously,
it's not.
2 medium drones on board, and then it has an internal storage tank for resources. So it has a very small version of a freight elevator built into the back of it. So you feed it 1 SCU crates, it absorbs them into the holding tank on board, and then the drones will come back to the vehicle to refill. And it also has a size 0 serial generator on board for a bit of added protection. What happens when you run out of resources?
Changes color.
This is where the CSV SM for supply model comes in. So the second CSV-based vehicle in the game, and this has a traditional 4 SCU cargo grid on the back. So 4 1 SCU boxes, 2 2 SCU boxes, 1 4 SCU box. Depending on what you buy, you can use this to bring it and move it around. So this is the perfect companion vehicle to the CSV-FM. Said that. Shield generator as well. Moves about 28 meters a second. My brain is fried. I can't remember what that is in miles per hour or kilometers per hour. And it is available right now to drive in SC Alpha 324.2. Available at playerc.csv.
It's available in game?
I don't know. I'm going there right now.
So now, let's take a little closer look at the vehicle, and Ben's going to go through it.
playSC.csv.
Okay, so what we're seeing here is the in-game version of the CSV. It's complete with its 4 SCU of cargo up on the rear.
Right now. $40.
And I think the CSV kind of really builds on what Argo is known for as a manufacturer. It's got those kind of like really kind of hard industrial looks, and I think it helps it kind of feel at home on any build
There's
site.
something on there that they haven't shown
All of
yet.
its components are easily accessible. And I think the exterior is like real dominating factor. It's those kind of large all-terrain wheels, and then that's kind of backed up by just simple, smooth, sleek lines. We've got the front-loading cab that puts all the controls kind of right in the kind of where the player needs them. And I think that's one of the keys to the ship as a whole, or the vehicle as a whole, sorry, is it's simple, it's purposeful, it's functional, and I think that just kind of just helps it to kind of feel part of that Argo family. But what if you want to go bigger?
Bigger?
Bigger.
Whoa,
Okay.
what is that?
So, introducing
Starlancer, yep. I was going to say.
the Starlancer family.
I'd kind of seen it. Someone.
Yeah, the Starlancer is basically a whole new family of vehicles, from MISC, and these are covering a range of different roles. Today, we're going to be talking about the first 3, which are the build, which kind of makes sense, and that basically is for all your large structural construction needs. We have the TAC, which is going to be for people that want a little bit more defensive or offensive excursions in our universe. And then we have the MAX, which is a dedicated hauler, but it can still pack a bit of a punch. So we're going to take a bit of a closer look at all of them today. We're going to start off with the build.
Other than the building one.
So this is the Starlancer build from the outside. The key thing to take away here is you'll see it has the drone bays on each side, and then it has the drone resupply arms for allowing the drones to come back and resupply. Inside that room, you have the drone control center. So you have a single station inside, and this is where you control all your drones from, much like Luke showed you in the previous presentation. So there are 2 large drones held on each side of the room, so 4 large drones in total. And then there are 2 filler stations right at the front here, and these each hold 16 SCU of capacity, which can then go and load the internal resource tank to feed the drones. Drones will then be deployed out of their little secret garages, and they go off and do what you've asked them to do. When they need to resupply, they'll come back, sit on these arms, suck up their resources that they need,
Okay,
carry
so
on
they
their
just
day.
make it liquid.
That's the really important thing here, is that all these base building vehicles have enough storage on board to supply your drones. Obviously, if you're going to build 1 million things on your base, you're going to run out. But we want you to be able to have these vehicles and have knowledge that you're not going to be doing endless cargo runs initially to build your foundation of your base. You'll be able to build your base and have storage on that eventually, but these all get you going in the short term.
That's cool.
So let's have a quick go over the stats.
Does look very misc.
It holds 4 large
I know,
construction
like,
drones.
I was gonna say, I really like it.
83 meters long,
But
52 meters wide, 15 tall.
I don't know if I like it. I
saw
just
lots
like it
of
being
rumors and
missed.
chatters that people thought this was
Looks like a big
freelancer
tool.
size. It is not. It is significantly larger than the Constellation and Corsair. It's almost 600i in size, so it is a big ship. 2 S4 guns for the pilots, 16 missiles, remote turrets, and then 128 SU of cargo capacity in the build specifically. But what if you don't want to build stuff? What if, like me, you just want to burn stuff and destroy stuff?
Oh, that
So
was sick.
introducing the Silence Attack. So, like I say, this is designed to be a bit more aggression into the verse. So I think the first thing you're going to notice is the kind of the dual man size 5 turrets.
Oh, 5,
Now these
wow.
give much better kind of broadside coverage from any of the other variants. And then on top, we also have like a dedicated hangar that has been specifically designed to fit a Mirai Fury inside. And I'm sure we
Oh,
will
yeah,
see
'cause
plenty of
it's-
other ships try to be fitted inside.
Successful
yeah.
or not.
Yeah, we'll see. And I think John's going to run you through the interior now.
So yeah, let's have a
Why not
look
just
over the
put a
tack
regular
from outside to in. So
hanger on it?
this is the tack in its default paint, so sort of military drab grey. Then internally, obviously Ben talked about the size 5 turrets. Then we have some drop seats behind, and these are on a deployable ramp, so you can do some ground assault. They will drop out, down. If you're doing a bit of ground assault, chances are someone's probably going to get injured, so there is an onboard medical facility directly behind there with 2 Tier 3 medical beds.
Tier 3 is the worst, right?
Yes. It's the smallest one.
Upstairs, obviously, there's the Fury hangar.
No.
Behind
The
that
beds
is
and the
engineering.
injuries are opposite
And then
to each other. It's
forward of the
really
hangar
weird.
is the refactored habitation and mess hall area, which is specific to the
It's actually
tag.
the best. I think it's
Just
the
because there's
best
so
bed.
much other stuff crammed in there, we
I
had
could be
to
wrong.
redo the upstairs of it basically to fit that in. And we'll go over the more normal layout shortly.
Okay, so yeah, to sum up, I think the TAC's obviously going to
Look
bring a
at
lot
it
more
just dunking
firepower
on
from
the
the other
Corsair.
variants. Its shield's been boosted up to two size 3 shield generators. It's got the med bay with the Tier 3 med beds, drop
This is the
seats, it's got the
reason why they
hangar,
did it,
and
why
it's
they
still
nerfed
able to
it.
carry up to 96 SCU of cargo.
Sell this
And
tack.
you can secure yours today by going to play.se/Starlance Attack.
It is inherently a much bigger class ship than that one, though, even without it.
Yeah, but that's what you have to do. You have to convert them from their old one to the new one. You got to bump them up.
Yep.
Oh, that looks like it's in game already. Is she the leader? No. Oh, that looks so sick. Is that a ramp in the front?
In the back. Oh, there's left. Wonder how close they are. What the hell?
Who's flying?
Built for life.
What's with his hands?
Why are here? What's IAE this year? What's the next one?
Yeah, I was gonna say it looked done.
Okay, so I think you kind of hopefully agree that was a pretty great kind of trailer for the Starlancer Max. And as you can kind of see, we're just putting the finishing touches on that now. So yeah, we're just getting it all done, all ready for its launch at
I
IAE.
love that they're showing new stuff that's done.
We will take a little bit of a closer look at it now.
That's a good change of pace for them.
I think the Starlancer kind of really fully encapsulates Misk's kind of ability to create beautiful ships. It's got this bulbous design that really helps to kind of convey its underlying structure and its underlying strength.
Fallout.
Yes. Yeah.
I think when the engineers were trying to kind of put this together, they were thinking about what's useful, what's great, and one of the things that we thought about was this deployable cargo grid that just brings the cargo down to the ground, makes it much easier for loading and unloading.
Oh, you mean like a hangar?
And they also wanted to put the kind of the crew, they wanted to put what was important for them. So they've added a lot of windows out so the crew can see out into the verse, and it's one of the things that we know people like is being able to have these kind of little windows out into space. And then above the kind of main habitation area, we've got these big skylights, and they just allow kind of like more natural light to cast down into the cruise area. For a bit more protection, you've got 8 size 3 missiles up front, and then a further 8 on top. And these are backed up by a set of size 4 remote turrets, both front and rear, that give good topside coverage. And then finally, when we get to the front, you'll see we have a further
weird how they
set of
put that, like,
size 4
random thing in the
gimbal
way so it
weapons.
can't shoot
And again,
forward.
these just kind of help to fill in those blind spots.
Balancing. It really
I think as a
does
whole,
feel like
I think
they've
the
got
engineers
art
or
teams
Misk have done an exceptional
with
job in
the
creating a
game
vehicle
design
that kind of
teams
fully
have kinda got a good
encapsulates
communication.
the functionality
Design
needed,
it in a
while
way
still
so
ensuring
you
that the
have
crew's kind of well-being
this
and
sort of
livelihood is
built
protected.
functionality on
It's
it.
all in a package that kind of really dominates the sky, and I think it really shows off Misk's ability to deliver kind of quite beautiful ships.
It kind of looks like the Starfield ships, just like smoothed out.
Right, so don't worry, this is not an Origin 404 moment happening here. So let's have a look inside the Starlancer Max now. So, love it or hate it, we love it. The Misk traditional letterbox view is back. At the front of the ship, you have the pilot, co-pilot seat with 2 support stations at the rear. These are the ones that control the remote turrets by default. Then behind that, we have the escape pod room. 4 escape pods, 4 crew. And then behind that, we have the traversal. It's sort of a traversal room. It has a lift, goes between the 2 floors of this ship and goes to the exterior of the ship. And then a ladder for emergency backup. Behind that is the mess hall area. So nice shared communal space for you to relax with your crew. And then we move into the 4 individual crew rooms, each with double beds, so very luxurious for a spaceship. En suites for all. At the rear of this section, we have a further 2 lifts. These are just internal to go between the 2 decks of the ship. Then at the rear, we have the main engineering. So there are some components dotted around throughout the rest of the ship, but the bulk of your components and the engineering terminal are here at the rear of the ship. So that's upstairs. Let's go downstairs a little bit. We have the main vehicle entrance and cargo entrance. For the rear section, this can be used as a garage, but it is also a cargo hold. Can fit vehicles up to a Ursa rover in size in here. And then on the Max, we have, as you saw in the trailer, it's sort of 1 cargo lift that drops down, but it retains a walkway throughout the center of the ship. So regardless of whether your cargo is up, down, being loaded, you still have traversal front to back of the ship. Then we have the downstairs of the traversal room, which also features the airlock onto the ship. And then lastly, we have the armory at the front of the ship. So if you're coming on board, leaving via EVA, leaving via that front entrance to the ground, you can stop off here, suit up, get your weapons, do the reverse coming back. And that is the Starlancer Max.
Okay.
So we'll quickly recap the stats. 224 SU of cargo, 128 on that ventral drop platform, 96 in the rear cargo area. It has 6 extra VTOL thrusters for all that extra mass that it's hauling. And it is available to pre-order now and will be flyable this IE at play.se Silencer Max. And if you pre-order now before IE, you will get this exclusive sapphire paint, which is in the Citizen colors and looks super cool in my opinion.
It does.
So, we have talked small drones, medium drones, large drones.
Extra large is going
What
to be
about
space
bigger
station.
things?
This is the Pioneer.
So, who can guess what that is? So,
Original concept.
I talked to you all quite some time ago about this in Germany, and this is obviously the original concept for the Pioneer. Now, some time has passed, and whilst the core concepts of base building have remained the same at a high level, how you physically build your bases has changed slightly. So, back then, you were building everything on board the ship here. You would fly your Pioneer. This is the area I want to build in. I'm going to build my base on board the ship, and I'm going to drop it down. As you've seen, bases are a lot more expansive now. This doesn't work anymore. So we need to do a little bit of some reconcepting.
And what are they going to say here?
Okay, so one of the first things we really wanted to kind of solve was the arm. We know a lot more about how we're going to be constructing these structures now, and kind of the arm didn't really make a lot of sense anymore. All it really did was
I think it's like
made the space you need to land the ship almost twice as big as what it's kind of needed.
About it earlier.
And we're not real spaceship engineers. We don't make real spaceships. But what we do try and do a lot of the time is we try and take as much reference from kind of real life manufacturing as we possibly can. And I think that's really it's really key to what I think Star Citizen is as a whole across like all the different departments, in that we're trying to make a believable universe. And if you think about the arm, and whilst I can't deny it's a cool idea, I think really from a manufacturing point of view, all it really does is it adds a lot of complication and a lot of manufacturing costs onto what is already a very advanced, very large, very costly ship to make.
I don't know what an arm is.
So that was kind of like one of the kind of real first things we wanted to do. The second thing we wanted to look at was kind of have a little bit of a shift around of kind of like the egress points on the ship. The cargo position has moved, so we needed to kind of update that. We wanted to make sure that the landing pad made sense and had space to kind of come into the ship. And then we also needed a way of getting things out of the ship that we will be crafting. On top of that, we had a few other goals. Like I say, it needs to support all the updated kind of building mechanics. It needs to support all our current metrics, and I don't mean just character metrics. I mean all metrics, because we're going to be creating a lot of things inside this ship. We wanted it to kind of become a true self-sustained mobile base. We wanted it to kind of be kind of like the cornerstone of your crafting and construction ventures. And to do that, we needed to add a few extra kind of onboard facilities. So a med bay, like I say, the crafting area, the ability to refine and extract and refine materials.
So let's have a quick look over the updated interior of the Pioneer.
Extract materials and stuff.
So at the back of the ship, we have the classic bridge, looks out over the expanse of the ship. And then top and bottom of that in this image, we have the escape pod rooms. And then leading off those is the access to the manned turrets that remain. Then going downstairs, we have the cargo area at the top. Doesn't look like a lot.
Oh,
That's
wow.
1,000 SEU of cargo now in that space.
At the top? Like that very top one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Next to that is the fabrication control room. This is where you'll be controlling fabricating larger vehicles and ships, as well as smaller fabrication machines next door for. You don't want to use this to build a small FPS weapon. It's a bit overkill. So we have that on board as well. In the center of the ship, we have a small fabrication hangar with roof and ramp egress. So if you're building a small ship on board, so things like a Nomad, you can build on board here. You'll be able to fly it out the roof of the fabrication hangar. And then we have the existing small landing pad that transitions from outside the ship to inside the ship. So cargo you can load via new entrance that Ben's going to talk about in a second, but you can still retain the ability to land a ship on top of this ship, move it inside your ship, all those things. Engineering at the rear, this is now capital components all the way around. It was a weird mix of size 3s before. It's now just all capital everything. Then we have the habitation, mess hall, medical area between the hangar and engineering. And then at the front, we have 4 extra-large drones in the drone room. But we don't just have some pictures of this to show you. Ben's going to go through this in a bit more detail now.
Okay, yeah, so we're going to have a little look at kind of like the concept and where it's at on the interior. We start out on the interior bridge. It's very spacious, or command deck bridge, whatever you want to call it. It gives kind of really nice views out over the front of the ship.
That's pretty
and
cool.
And right up front, you've got all the consoles required that you need to kind of control the ship, as well as the kind of additional remote turret access consoles.
I mean,
and then at the rear, we
too?
have the main kind of navigation components and some small engineering consoles. And kind of flanking either side, we've got these 2 corridors, and they lead out to the manned turrets that kind of sit above the bridge. And they also have all the escape pods needed for all the bridge crew.
Are these evac pods going to work?
I don't know, but that's one of the best bridge layouts I've seen.
Like I say,
with components
we want
and
this to kind of be a home away from home, so we have a very large, comfortable habitation area.
How many people, I wonder if
Each of the crew members, they get their own individual crew pod. And one of the nice things about this is these actually open up, and they allow kind of each crew member to kind of decide like how much privacy they actually want. This is the crafting area. We've got the 4 kind of crafting machines. And these are right next to the cargo bay, the internal cargo bay. And as John says, this holds up to 1,000 SEU of cargo, so it's pretty sizable. To make it a little bit easier, it's got its own dedicated cargo lift at the back. That again, just simplifies that kind of getting cargo in and out of the vehicle.
It's a walkway and it goes down. That's why they're able to fit so much. It's elevated. They're on the elevated section.
Down at the front, we have the drone room. Now these will be 4 extra large drones, so they'll be able to craft our largest structures in game. They exit the ship out through the roof, and they're all controlled by the construction console in this area.
Just one? I guess that makes sense. Maybe.
And finally, we're just going to take a quick look at the crafting area on the ship. So you can see here we've got these blast shields down that kind of protect the crew in this area from what's going on inside. And then as these open up, we just finished making a storm. And as we see, there's a ramp that leads out, so you can drive any ground vehicle straight out the front, between all the landing gear, and you get this really nice kind of like sense of scale as you're driving underneath out the front of the ship. And we've also got the top exit for any flight vehicles. And then finally, we have the landing pad, and this just allows us for any ships that land up on deck, we can just bring them down into the belly of the ship.
So that's the Pioneer. It's had quite the glow up over the years. Holds 4 extra large drones. And if you're interested in finding out what extra large drones can build, I highly recommend sticking around for the next presentation.
The 1.0.
It's about 20% bigger. I know the jokes, we always make ships bigger, but to fit all that in, it needed it. It can craft small ships and vehicles. And one thing we didn't show in that video is the landing gear actually have integrated ground resource extractors in. So when you find your plot, you land your ship and you can start extracting the resources from it.
That's pretty cool.
Capital components all round, and now it has 1,000 SU of cargo capacity. Now the bad news. When base building comes out, this will not be there day 1 of it. But we are starting this in the next week or 2, so it is in production very soon.
It is in production soon. Yeah.
So,
Kraken, it's going to be Kraken. Oh, yes!
Right.
Yes.
To finish up, we'll do the classic one last thing. CitizenCon is usually about looking forwards, but we'll do some housekeeping and look at the now and a bit before.
The show last year.
So, oh, sorry, this is Ben.
Yeah, so you remember last year we teased these 10 vehicle silhouettes. Now, these were vehicles that we were planning on working on this year, and we've not quite delivered all of them yet this year. But we did come quite close. So far we've delivered 6. We've delivered the Pulse, the X1, the Medvac, the Argo and PUV 1T, the RSI Zeus, and the rework on the Retaliator.
So like,
but what
all
about
of
the rest?
those already exist,
So,
basically.
all but one of these will be released before the end of the year. So the Legionnaire is the one that's going to miss out. And that's because we want to align it with hacking gameplay. But the rest will be here for the end of the year. So Crusader Intrepid, Mirai Guardian, and the Polaris. So we have a few patches between where I am today standing on stage and the end of the year. But let's start with some things that you're going to see at IEE.
Here you go. Wait, what is that?
That looked like an anvil. But they don't have the Legionnaire yet.
Anvil, yep. It's a medical, yes, a medical therapy. I knew it.
Yes, I was going to say, it looked like a Terrapin. I didn't realize they were doing another Terrapin, though.
Everybody's been asking for this.
This is the true med in combat med ship.
That looks like a spirit.
Oh, this is the
Interpret or whatever.
Crusader. Yeah, this is the Crusader one. That's a big gun. This isn't the starter ship, though.
No, this is the Interpret or whatever.
This looks like it's a step up from the C1 and in between, and not quite a C2. Or maybe it is. Nope.
I have no idea. I'm like, I don't know. What is this? bet you this ship's gonna have
This ship's supposed to be able to rearm and refuel the ship in the bay. Yeah, maybe.
What is this?
Oh yeah, your cargo is right, yeah. Oh, up to the torpedo bay. Barrel.
That's or is this the torpedo firing room? Liable now? Liable now? Wow, that has a lot more texture on it than I thought.
Yeah.
Okay, so on top of those ships we've talked about, we also worked on a number of other ships this year. So we're just going to quickly go through them before we get on to what we're doing next. So we delivered the Sulen, the Storm,
Boo.
the Cutter Rambler, the F7A and F7C Mark IIs. So I always get tongue twisted with these. And the F7A Mark Is.
They also did the Santok EI, the Sabre Firebird, the Peregrine, and then most recently, the Argo Atlas. So, like last year, where we did a little tease, can't just leave without teasing a little bit more. So
I'm going to say Legionnaire again.
let's have a quick look at just some, emphasis on some, of the vehicles that we're working on in the next 12 months.
We're working on, not delivering.
That's the base building one.
That'll be out like immediately. Whoa.
These are just some of the reworked ones.
Hopefully they did that one better. That's the base building version.
That's a Hornet. Another Hornet.
Another one. These must be the ones from the squadron. Legionnaire. Wait, no, that's the medical terror.
That's a Prospector. Oh, that's that new one that got leaked in that.
This?
Done for this. Or, I don't know where you are.
Look at it. Lots of RSI looking ships.
I like they're silhouetting ones that exist.
Freelancer remake.
Whoa, that's a huge. Pioneer.
So,
that wasn't much of a tease. It showed off most of those.
I just want to say a big thank you to all of you, and a big thank you to all the vehicle team in all the studios around the globe. They give us all the
they're
hiding
not
at the back. But I just want to say a big thank you to you all, especially for all the hard work on these recent ships.
I thought they were aiming to get
massive thank you to everyone involved in putting these vehicles together.
Pioneer is pretty capital.
Thank you.
Yeah, but
thank you.
Something to rival the Polaris at least.
I guess Polaris will be king for now.
That was awesome, you guys. I swear some of those silhouettes looked a little familiar. Let's give it up one more time for the vehicle team. Let's hear it for the vehicle team, everybody. Woo! Call response. We'll work on it for next year. Speaking of awesome ships, we are here at the Planet Ring booth here on the show floor at CitizenCon. These guys have some amazing models that are in prototype right now. We're going to check them out right now. Let's check out some of these awesome prototype models we have right here. Let's check those out. We're going to give our cameraman just a quick moment to check them out. I am here with Ray of Planet Ring. We're going to be asking him a couple questions about these prototypes in just a second, but I want to make sure that the camera has time to check out the details on these awesome models that we're hoping to get out in the near future. Oh, look at that. That is some sexy detail work.
Snap.
All right, so Ray, what inspired you to make models of Star Citizen ships?
Hammerhead, there
Well,
you go.
actually, we have been Star Citizen bankers for many years. Myself, I joined the wars in 2015, and my colleagues joined it in 2014, which is 10 years ago. It's a long way for us. And we've been specialized in sci-fi models. We have been collaborating with other famous IPs like the films, especially the sci-fi films and animations and games. So we are excited to be here as a partner of CIG to bring the citizens in the world with a beautiful ship in affordable price.
Amazing. So how long does each model take for you guys to make?
$5.50 for me.
Well, we've been working for 7 months for now, but our prototype now is still an early stage of what we are going.
For me. Have you been up?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I woke up.
Yeah, I started watching that first one right when it turned on.
I think the next one's on the hour.
You want to watch the keep going on the other one?
Yes. Let me.
Dude, the chat is just flying by.
All right. Are you ready for me to stream?
I'm gonna. Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
But crafting just isn't in with shiny new gear. Think much bigger. Crafting enables you to build your own home among the stars. Choose to make a farm, a hunting lodge, an industrial complex, your own trading hub, a military outpost, even a sprawling town with your friends, and org mates. Got a lot here, but it's all optional. You can choose to focus on gathering resources and sell them to crafters that need them. You can skip gathering and refining and just focus on being the best crafter you can be. Or you can leave all that gathering and crafting nonsense to other people and just focus on trade and make some money. But that brings me to my last point. Player choice matters. When a player makes a choice, they assign value. Players' choices about crafting and base building will drive player trade. The community's choices will determine the value of the materials and the crafted goods you can all make. The game will still have its own shops and economy alongside players, but now you'll have more options about where you invest and how you prosper. Now, I've given you a nice overview of what we're working on here, and we have a lot more planned for the future. But now that you're familiar with the big picture, I want to introduce some of my fellow developers to come up on stage. They've got exciting details to share with you about the specifics of our new crafting systems, important gameplay improvements, and most exciting, I think anyway, an update to base building. To start things off, please welcome Jacob Taylor to the stage.
CitizenCon. I'm Dust. I think it's time we get into some of the details. I'm going to tell you about the, but I think it's time we are introducing, starting with, before you can craft anything, you'll need a blueprint. Blueprints provide the recipe to perform all kinds of crafting processes, including refining. You can acquire blueprints through various activities.
Yes, space capitalism.
Some you can buy, some you can find, and some can be unlocked or earned in other ways. You can also upgrade your blueprints.
So this part,
through
I think, is going to
research.
be weird.
We'll go into
it's
more
going to be a
detail
little
about what this
controversial.
means a bit
You have
later.
to let me know what you think.
So, blueprints are the recipe, and Rick already told us the materials you gather and refine will be the ingredients. But there's a bit more to it than that. We have a new concept for materials: material quality. Quality is a property we're adding to all resources you can gather. That's an abstract measurement of how good it is at being whatever it is. You can think of this as the purity of a metal, or the ripeness of a fruit, or something along those lines. This quality will be carried forward from raw resources through the refining process to influence what that batch of materials is best used for in crafting. High quality is more desirable overall, but is more rare, and there are still important uses for low-quality materials. More on that later. All raw materials you find in the verse will have a quality rating that's generated based on some rules, the same kind of rules you heard about from the Planet Tech team yesterday. You'll find the same material in many places, but with varying qualities, so you might want to explore to find the best. Some materials that are already rare will be even more valuable if you can find them with high quality. But what's quality for?
Are they just going to put
It's
like a
for
quality
item
number on there?
stats.
That's interesting.
Alongside quality, we're introducing a
Oh,
new
that's
item
cool. I like
stat
the
system
bottom,
to the game.
the cubes.
Yes. This is, when they talk about refining, it'll be pretty interesting.
This will allow relevant properties of craftable items to be affected by the quality
Tier
of materials
selection,
used to craft them.
upgradable item. So I'm
For
wondering if you
resources,
can take a
just a
normal
single
item
quality rating
and
is
upgrade it.
sufficient to provide variation.
I don't
But
think
craftable
so.
items have such diverse purposes that we need a more detailed system to provide both progression and customization options.
It's like No Man's
We
Sky,
aim to
but
have
more
meaningful
complicated
item
and more
stats
grinding.
for all
Yeah,
craftable
maybe so.
items. But some examples would be the damage and fire rate of a gun, the wear resistance of a ship component, or even the satiation
Yeah,
provided
there we go.
by eating a hot dog.
Craft me a hot dog.
Heck yeah.
Liquid is mustard.
Is there quality materials in
So,
No Man's Sky?
as I said,
probably
the
just 3D
quality of
printers making those
materials
things.
will directly affect the item
Yeah.
stats,
Time 20
such
minutes
that
to
higher
make a
quality
little gun.
results in better stats.
Fine with me, man.
Most items require
Yeah.
multiple different materials to make,
Just have more
which may each
crafting
influence
stations.
different stats. And in many cases, you'll have a choice of materials to use, which lets you decide which stats to focus on to tailor your items to your playstyle. Here we see I'm making a gun with high-quality aluminium, giving me a nice bonus to integrity and weight. But someone sold me low-quality copper, so I don't get as much fire rate bonus as I could have.
Interesting.
To go
Fire
even
rate.
further, researching your fabrication blueprints allows you to build higher tiers of an item with improved base stats. So a higher tier item will be better than a lower tier item that was made with materials of the same quality.
Jared's back on stage again.
Making high tier
All right,
items
we can
requires
swap
more
back.
advanced materials.
It's time. And before we get this started, we're doing a lot of things here. I want to do some personal thanks to myself. Okay? So, first, I want to thank all the developers who took their time to build their presentations and showcase for you their amazing work that they've been doing over the last year for Star Citizen and Squadron 42. So please, a round of applause
The base building.
for the developers.
So good.
It is not easy to stand on this stage in front of 4,000 people, in front of tens of thousands of people at home, and the hundreds of thousands who will clip this and replay it and cut it into other content videos for years and years to come. So thank you so much. I want to do a couple individual call-outs, though, because it's important to me, and I'm on stage right now, and you're a captive audience. I want to call out Nick Pierce. Nick Pierce from the Characters and Creatures presentation. 10 days ago, we lost our main presenter. He didn't die or anything, he just couldn't make the trip. Nick stepped in with only 10 days to prepare that amazing armor specialization presentation that you saw. So Nick, you're a champion. Thank you so much stepping at the last minute. Benoit and Ian. Benoit and Ian took the reins and delivered multiple presentations this year. You may only see them talking in this presentation or this presentation. You're going to see Ian in this one here, like this. But their work behind the scenes, getting all of these presentations up to the standard that they're required, was amazing this year. So Benoit and Ian, you don't have to clap for this one. This is just for me. Thank you so much, Benoit and Ian.
You don't have to clap.
All right, you can clap. That's fine. You might have noticed we went on ISC hiatus a couple weeks ago. We went on hiatus a little earlier than normal because we took the ISC gameplay capture team and we dedicated them to the work of CitizenCon for the last almost 6 weeks. Every year at CitizenCon, the devs spend their time creating their footage for you, their showcases for you, and many of them still did. But the amount of work it takes them away from the work of actually creating the game. So our ISC gameplay capture team really stepped up this year for the first time in CitizenCon history and helped folks create the videos. Those amazing looks at Nick, those amazing looks at Castra, the amazing looks at the Sandworm and stuff. So I want to call out Will, Dave, Toby, Alex, and our newest member, Thomas. Hi, Thomas. Thank you so much, guys. They had never participated in a CitizenCon before, and I think they were a little surprised at first at the sheer amount of work that goes into doing this. But they stepped up and delivered some amazing stuff. The last of which you're gonna see some in this next presentation. And then our last two groups of people I want to present. I want to share. Are they back there? Wave if you're back there. You guys ready? I can't see anything. All right. I hope. I'm vamping a little bit until Rich Tyra gets into place.
That's what Star Citizen
I could hide it from you, but
was like basically.
So the last groups of people I want to thank.
NPC economy, but now it's going
Well,
to
let
be
me tell you a story real
player-driven
quick.
as well.
When I'm back there, and folks are coming up to me and they're thanking me for this and thanking me for doing ISC, for doing SEL, for putting this together on the stage today, I'm struck by two things every time I'm thanked. One is that I can't do any of this without you. There is no game project in the world that does a weekly behind-the-scenes docuseries each and every week, and then turns around and does a live talk show the next day after it. And that's only made possible because you guys keep tuning in, you guys keep watching, you guys keep supporting, you guys keep making relatively positive comments about me. I don't think I'm ever going to shave my face again. But it's all right. I just wanted to see what I looked like. You know, I'm like, oh, that's what you look like. All right, I agree with the people. Let's bring it back. And then last but not least, there is one person who makes it possible for me to do everything that I've done here. I've been here for 10 years. I've produced 7 CitizenCons. I've produced 3 Gamescoms, a PAX or 2, and a couple digital stuff, and of course ISC and SEL every single week. And really, after your support, the only reason I get to do this week in and week out and have these big moments like this is because of the same guy who makes it possible for all of us to do our jobs. So I'd like to thank, where's the camera? There you go. I'd like to thank Chris Roberts.
Is he not there?
Chris, thank you.
Yeah, he's there.
Thank you for not thinking Sandy was crazy when she hired me. Thank you for saying yes to so many things I want to do. And for not saying no or getting angry when I don't ask. So thank you so much. I do operate a lot on a let's just do it and see if I get in trouble afterwards thing. So is that Chris there? Are you ready? All right. So with that, yes, he's angry now. All right. So without further ado, let's get to our final presentation of the night. The Star is My Destination. Introduced to you by the one and only Chris Roberts.
I like Chris. I'm glad he has the guts to just keep doing what he wants.
Hey, well, I hope you had a great day yesterday. And by the way, there's a perfect run-through that Rich did immediately after the show. He went back to the office, ran it through, no crashes, no nothing. It's up on YouTube. And by the way, that's a dedication of Rich. Is like, okay, I'm going to get it done properly, and he did it. And it looks great, and it doesn't have any screen tearing, because there was some screen tearing. There was a technical glitch in the setup yesterday. So anyway, watch that. And if you're doing comparisons to the old stuff, compare with that video. They played that game on one of the rigs from the. Anyway, I hope you guys liked this morning.
Sucks.
There was
The
the
sponsors.
base building, the
from one of the
crafting,
sponsors. So
the
I'm
ships
wondering
to
if
be
it
able
just
to
didn't
do
have,
it. I mean, for
updates on
me,
it or something.
the ability to
Yeah,
sort of
no.
create your own place somewhere in the verse, find the perfect spot for you to make your home or harvest resources, it totally changes the dynamic of what the game will be in terms of exploration and people spreading out, and I think
I'm so
putting
stoked
roots
for that.
down in the verse. So I
It's
can't
really gonna
wait to
change
get
the-
that in there.
the
I mean, that's one of the
game
things that makes me
just so
incredibly
fundamentally.
excited, because I think it will just
Where there's
add
nothing to
so
do,
much
there'll be
to
so
a
much
living,
to
breathing
do.
universe.
Yeah.
But that is a perfect example of
I say that,
Star
but we'll
Citizen, how it's grown over the last 12 years, because we definitely did not have that on the initial Kickstarter or the pitches that we were doing.
Yeah. That is
And, you
not
know,
part of the
Star
deal.
Citizen is a living game. I mean, we're constantly always adding content and features and tech. As you can see, we're constantly upgrading, you know, what we're doing on the graphics side, making it better and always improving it. And even after
He
we would
mentions
consider
graphics
it
first.
a released or a shipped game, not an alpha game, we will still be doing that. So it's just, it will be a living game. We'll never do Star Citizen 2.0. It will always be sort of Star Citizen that will
Star Citizen
continue
Mark II.
to grow. It won't be like, oh, we're going to do Destiny 2 after Destiny 1. It will just be a living, growing product. Same for. Well, I don't mean that. I don't mean that as a knock at them. I just mean that in today's world, you constantly upgrade and improve things.
It's all of this.
But the big question really is, at what point would we at CIG, what point would I, what point would the rest of the team consider Star Citizen ready for everybody? Not just you guys out here who are beautiful, wonderful, early adopters, willing to put up with bugs, jankiness, you know, not a great new player experience. We know all those things are things that we want to fix and improve. And we want a game that everyone can just get into at the beginning, understand it, have fun, you know, pulls you into it, and then has a huge amount of depth.
On their
So
stream,
the question
or on
is,
their
what
YouTube
is
channel.
that?
It's the game.
And that is
It's a
what we call
single-player
Star
game.
Citizen
It's the intro.
1.0.
It's an hour-long
It's something
intro
that we've
to
been
the single-player
talking
game.
and looking and designing and thinking a lot about over the past X number of years. And now we thought, you know what we should do, because I think half our sort of initial stuff is from a long time ago that you've seen, and then occasionally we'll talk about things we're doing in, you know, Inside Star Citizens or SE Lives. But we're like,
They read you the
okay,
game docs?
let's tell everyone the marker. This is what it is, Star Citizen 1.0.
Great.
When we hit this, this is what we consider we're ready to go wide. You know, everybody in the
Here we go,
world
Denny.
can get
We're
in,
gonna find
play
out
it,
if we get
whether
Star
you're
Citizen or not.
hardcore or casual, have fun, play in the verse, interact, have a great time. And so that is what we're going to tell you today, is what we consider Star Citizen 1.0. That doesn't mean, as I said, that we'll stop at that point. We'll continue to grow and build and add things. So fishing is not on Star Citizen 1.0's list, but I'm pretty sure, I know, but I'm pretty sure it will be not that long after 1.0. But that is the example. We're going to tell you what the marker is. And, you know, to do that,
at this point.
Rich Tyra, who's our senior game director,
4 years later.
is going to come
It
out
was-
with
it
a
was
few of our
only
other
4
directors,
years.
and we'll lead you through what 1.0 will be. So without further
It's
ado,
okay. I could live
Rich
without
Tyra.
fishing.
I want fishing. I want to kill
Rich.
a Copion and eat it. I want survival.
Don't crash.
Yeah.
We're not getting that.
Hello,
That's what I
CitizenCon.
want.
So, my name is Rich Tyra, and I'm the Senior Game Director for Star Citizen and Squadron 42. Now, I've been at Cloud Imperium for many years, and I've read many, many Spectrum and Reddit posts. And one consistent question I always see is, what type of game is Star Citizen? And I've read many, many answers. It's a PvE game. It's a PvP game. What about non-combat? Ultimately, it's all three. 3 types of players, 1 universe. So how do we connect those players to create a cohesive game, and not just a set of features bolted together?
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And it comes back to that elegant, simple question. What type of game is Star Citizen?
I like how he put
today,
3 categories.
We're going to find
and
out.
it's literally every game ever made.
Okay, so before we get stuck into Star Citizen 1.0,
It's a non-combat game.
I think I need to clarify a
That's
few
every game
things.
that's just non-combat.
Firstly, what about 4.0? Where does that fit in? Well, 4.0 is the patch that contains server meshing and Pyro. And fundamentally, it's an alpha development patch, which means it's adding further tech, features, and content to our alpha version of the game. Today, though, is beyond 4.0, all the way to 1.0. And the big difference is that 1.0 is the full release of the game.
So where's beta?
Okay, so what does that mean? How will it be different to a normal patch?
I don't know.
Well, firstly, let's look at the 1. The 1 means we're committing to higher base performance and minimal bugs. No longer will we reference that the game is in development. This will be a fully released and polished experience.
Okay.
It means fully rounded gameplay loops, from new player experience to story missions and end-game content. And crucially, it means no more resets between patches. It's a true... It's a true persistent universe. So if that's the 1, what about the .0? Well, it's just as important. It means we're still committed to continued development, with new content and features being planned post 1.0. But those features will no longer be tier 0. We'll be committing to a higher benchmark of quality for each patch, and most importantly, it's a moment in time. If there is a content, feature, or star system that we've mentioned in the past that is not in 1.0, it just means it will come later. 1.0 is more than just a number change. It's the beginning of a new phase of development of the game. Okay, so we know what the 1 is and the .0.
There's no specific
but before we move on, I want to address one important point. And for this, we need to go all the way back to the beginning. Here we are, the Kickstarter. As a backer myself, it brings back memories. And it also reminds me we had a lot of stretch goals. And one of those goals was 100 star systems.
He's about to dash it. And we're like, yeah.
But, and there is a but, the star systems of old are not the star systems of today. They were based on the privateer and freelancer model. They were unexplorable planets with an isolated and small landing zone and had automated landings.
Hilarious.
And we all know how that went. To give you an idea, Stanton had 4 points of interest, and the entire 100 systems only had 90 POIs. Compare that to Stanton today, and we have 1,626 points of interest. And that is going to be dwarfed once we start using the Starchitect tool you saw yesterday.
Is that what they call it?
It's what they just said Starchitect tools. Which is awesome. I love that
So where
name.
does that leave us for 1.0? Well, we will not be launching with 100 star systems, because the game we have today was not just the game that was pitched back then. It's more rich, it's more diverse, and fundamentally, you'll be getting a whole lot more, and I mean a lot more.
And it'll be more fun to get them one by one.
So now I've defined what 1.0 is. Let's get into the cool stuff. Star Citizen, by its very nature, is a sandbox MMO. Today, you as a player have to find the fun. You have to figure out what you can do and how to do it. If you want to be a hauler or salvager, you have to know those professions exist. You have to know what ships support that gameplay. And you have to rely on outside resources for help. As it is now, the game is not set up to help you. So we're going to add a soft framework, a nervous system, that connects all the professions, ships, and content together. And to do this, we're going to add a main story.
Whoa, what?
To help... To help new and existing players to help discover all the exciting features and content we have, to take them on a journey of discovery of what the game has to offer. This story will become the spine of the universe and help onboard players with understanding how to play the game and understand what's available to them. This story will also introduce each of our guilds and what professions we have to offer. Like the United Resource Workers, our core industrial guild, which supports 2 of our main professions, mining and salvaging. They also support many other features and professions, like repair technician, crafter, and builder. Guilds are hugely important in Star Citizen, and as you know by now, guilds are comprised of many factions. As you work for each of these factions,
stations
you'll gain
under builder.
guild reputation. You can then use this reputation as a currency to purchase guild-affiliated rewards, like ships, blueprints, and items. And each guild will have a unique inventory of what they offer. Alongside economic growth, guild reputation will become a core progression of the game. And to talk more about guilds and our main story, I'd like to introduce David Haddock onto the stage, our very own narrative director.
And this is all stuff that's not coming anytime soon.
I hope you can start on a little outpost.
Thank you, Rich. Hello, CitizenCon. How's it going? Awesome. So yes, 1.0 is very exciting, and it's going to provide us probably our first real opportunity to finally inject a massive amount of narrative into the game. But we're looking to do that in several of ways. Now, Rich introduced the main story, so let's get into it. What exactly is that? First, it's a narrative experience. This will be a crafted story through the star systems and professions of the Star Citizen universe, taking players on an exciting adventure that will finally kick off the growing tension between Earth and Terra. Yeah. It will be NPC-driven. So while Squadron 42 will always be the place to go for AAA cinematic adventure, we're bringing a lot of the techniques that we learned from that to capture and build a cast of dynamic characters, some of which may be familiar, for both this story and the PU. And the main story is also designed to be sort of like a tour bus structure where you can hop on and hop off at any time you want to. So we're not also requiring you to do it. So if you want to log in day one and just go off and do your thing, you can do that. Or maybe you want to put the story on hold so you can go explore a new facet of gameplay that you just discovered. Go for it. The point is that you can complete it at your own pace. So that's the what. So why do you want to do this? What's the motivation to want to go on this ride? Like Rich said, for new players, it's a great way to ease into sort of the vast lore that we've been developing over 12 years. The gameplay, the locations that the game has to offer, and also give you a sense of upcoming stories that are about to come. But you've been playing Star Citizen for years. You probably know the lore better than me. So what's in it for you? Now, of course, we'll have rewards along the way as you complete missions and whatnot, but we're finally going to offer a big prize for completing the story. Citizenship.
What?
You're going to
People are clapping. We don't even know what it is.
Many of you already know this, but for the uninitiated, in the UEE, there are citizens and there are civilians. Citizens are members of the population who have demonstrated a commitment to bettering the Empire, and as such are given benefits that civilians just don't have.
I got your joke, dude.
Now,
it took me a second. That's awesome.
Those differences have been debated in the community over years.
Oh, tons of it.
1.0, we're finally going to answer that debate. I won't get into the full list of benefits that we're going to offer, but can reveal that one of them will be around land ownership.
That makes sense.
Citizens will be able to purchase land anywhere in the UEE and enjoy the security that comes with it. But civilians will have a couple of restrictions as to which systems and which planets they can buy on. So that's the why. So where is this adventure going to take you? Well, 1.0 is going to include 5 star systems. This story is going to weave you through all of them, but where exactly are you going to go? First, we've got Stanton. which needs very little introduction. I'm sure you're all very intimately familiar with these 4 corporate-run worlds. But since I do lore, I figure I could take the next hour and just walk through each one of these. But I'm kidding.
I'm so glad
we've also got Pyro, Land of the Lawless. A volatile star at the center of the system is the perfect metaphor for the constant struggle between the gangs and survivors trying to hack out an existence here. If you saw Ian's location presentation yesterday, then you know that he reintroduced Nick's system. There's another unclaimed system that's currently home to the People's Alliance, a wannabe independent government formed during the Messer era, but now struggling with the burdens of governance, a growing outlaw presence, and a new threat on their doorstep from Vandal raids. Ian also made another big announcement of our 4th system, Castra. Situated along the former Perry line, this was a key strategic system to launch an attack if the Cold War between the humans and the Xi'an ever escalated. So that's 4. Do you guys want to know 5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's Earth?
Well, Earth
We're finally
is
doing it. Considered by many to be the new jewel of the Empire, Terra has been a shining star against the more imperialistic tendencies of Earth, even in the darkest days of the Messer regime. Now, many believe that Terra should be the new center of the UEE. I don't know how you all feel.
The Earth as itself is referred to as Terra.
A lot of division.
Yeah.
But that's our starting
Terra
5.
Prime.
Each system and each planet will be featuring the massive level of outposts, POIs, stations, biomes, and exploration options that we've been perfecting with Stanton and Pyro, and you've been seeing in some of the other presentations this weekend. But we're adding one more level. We're also going to be adding location stories. Now, these will be short, NPC-driven missions sprinkled across our landing zones and cities that will exist outside of the main story, but will help provide an additional bit of lore and character to the location that they take place in.
A game? What?
So, that's our main story. Let's talk more about the guilds that Rich mentioned. First, a quick recap. Guilds act as a governing body for clusters of professions and factions with a reputation and progression system that will offer rewards the more you work for them. And I want to call out 2 things. One, I'm not going to have time to dive into all of the missions that you're going to see on this board, but just know that every mission type is either in the 1.0 roadmap or already in production. And second, we're also looking to move missions away from the mobiGlas whenever possible. Sure, it will always be an easy way for us to get additional game content in, but we want you talking with people. So
that's what we need, a reason to go somewhere.
So to aid that, we're going to be adding characters to represent the factions that you'll be working for that will help sell their personality. Now, some, they'll still interact with you via the written word, but some will call and check in on your performance. And others, you may have to meet in person from time to time. So, let's walk through them. Here we have the first guild that Rich showed, the United Resource Workers. Whether you're eager to earn credits, mining valuable resources from remote corners of the universe, sifting through detritus to try and salvage some valuable components, or even just acting as a technician, you'll find plenty to do with employers like Shubin Interstellar, United Wayfarers Club, and more.
You're going to act as a tech on a ground extractor.
You have one of the oldest unions in the UEE, the Interstellar Transport Guild. This will be the go-to place for everybody looking to make their fortune hauling and trading. Some of the factions that many of you already work for now, such as Ling Family Hauling, Redwind, and FTL. And we're going to be adding something special for the daredevils out there, the Imperial Sports Federation.
Parkour athlete.
So aside from the usual racetracks that are both legitimate and illegitimate, we're actually going to be leveraging some of our existing mechanics to build new sports and provide an outlet for all you Murray Cup enthusiasts, cargo Olympians, and competitors to see just who's the best out there.
Industrial athlete.
For those who dream of exploring, I'm sure we have a couple here. We had the Academy of Sciences that was brought up yesterday in the social presentation, if you saw that. This is a science guild that will include factions like the Imperial Cartography Center, who will task you with a variety of missions to better understand our
Capture
universe,
animals.
such as sending you into a nebula to do deep scans, or finally seeing what's at the bottom of that planetary canyon. We're going to have a new faction called High Point Wilderness Specialists, who will offer missions associated with the various fauna that we're starting to get into the game, from population control missions to harvesting specific resources for research. Now, I don't know if we have some people who'd like to do combat, but our combat guilds were doing something a little different. Now, previous to this, these are all of our professional
No combat
guilds.
people went.
But for our combat guilds, they operate a little differently. See, these two are diametrically opposed to each other. So once you pledge allegiance to one, the other marks you as an enemy.
So that's how we pick our factions.
On the lawful side, we have the Mercenary Guild. They represent factions like Eckhart Security, the Bounty Hunters Guild, and even some military contractors. So whether you're pulling together a team of specialists to go assault a ground base, hunting down an elusive criminal, or putting together a recon run to drum up some intel, Mercenary Guild's got you covered. On the flip side, we have the Council. Now, this is a shadowy group comprised of representatives from various gangs, syndicates, and outlaws who mandate criminal activity throughout the verse.
Jacking.
You'll be able to throw in with rough-and-tumble gangs like the Headhunters and the Dead Saints, or work your way up to join highline criminal syndicates like the Atonis or the Drop Kings. But remember, the underworld is a dangerous place run by greed and power. So Mercenary Guild reps might not be the only people you have to worry about, as the syndicates are always looking for loyal soldiers who will hurt their competition and tip the scales of power in their favor. So as you can see, there's going to be a universe of exciting storytelling opportunities for you to undertake in 1.0. But one more thing, we're also going to revitalize our social behaviors to make the populations not only feel more alive and reactive and off chairs, but better reflect the tone and flavor of the areas that they're inhabiting. We want to see the people of Loreville slowly trudging through the streets, overburdened by the ruthless contracts, just as much as we want to see the tourists of Orison gleefully moving from attraction to attraction. And all of this is what's going to make Star Citizen be the experience we set out to make. A diverse universe with a rich tapestry of stories, characters, and experiences
as far as Squadron 42.
For you to live in. To talk more about how all this feeds back into player progression, I'm going to turn it back over to Rich.
This is like 10 years out.
Thanks, Dave.
Dang, I wanted to say 2 years.
Smashed it.
And they have so much work
Thanks,
to do
Dave.
with gameplay.
Okay. So we have a main story to connect the universe. We have all the guilds and their associated
At least they
professions.
focused on like
and we have location
the
stories
base building
to
and
give the
org
world
stuff
depth
first.
and life.
Yeah.
Crucially, though, we have a new core progression in the game, guild reputation. But what about our other core progression in the game? The economy. So, as we've discussed before, we'll be implementing a Star Sim-powered dynamic economy that will automatically adjust the in-game prices based on player activity.
Okay, that's new. Poor Tony Z.
But for credits to actually matter, though, we need to have an economy where credits flow out as well as in. This means transactions such as repairing, refueling, and restocking need to have value. If everything is too cheap and the money coming into the economy is too great, we'll have massive inflation. And this is where taxes and insurance come in.
Okay, inheritance talk.
We'll have two main taxes. Inheritance tax as part of Death of a Spaceman.
Good, yeah.
And security tax for your base that will cover the cost of planetary shield tech. Insurance, on the other hand, will be split between medical insurance, which covers your hospital imprints, and probably the most important one of all, ship insurance. Now, as we have Death of a Spaceman, we also need Death of a Spaceship. Losing your ship should be significant. Right now, for example, over 90% of all claims in the verse are for ships that have not been destroyed. And this is where ship insurance and our new warranty mechanic comes in. First up, we'll have 3 tiers of insurance, with level 1 being chassis insurance, level 2, chassis and component insurance, and level 3, chassis, component, and decorations insurance.
Okay, explain LTI. I heard it.
Now, insurance by itself will only pay out credits based on the wear and age of your ship.
Ooh.
Insurance, I think you want to listen to this bit because it's important. Insurance with a warranty, though, will give you back a new ship, plus any other equipment or decorations based on the tier of insurance you had. Okay, so this is the bit you need to listen to. All ships bought on the pledge store will come with a permanent warranty and their appropriate insurance.
Okay.
My brain's not understanding it right yet.
This means you will always get your ships back if they're attributed to your account. Other ships, on the other hand, will require a transferable warranty, and these are rare. You'll be able to earn transferable warranties in-game, such as by completing the main story, as an example, and apply them to any of the ships you own. But there will be a cooldown for transferring it between ships, so choose wisely. Now, what about claim timers? It's another fun topic. And getting your ship back without a claim. Well, we want claim timers to be proportional to the crafting timers. This means it's more beneficial for you to go back and get your original ship.
That makes sense.
For this, we're going to be introducing a shuttle ship, just like a courtesy car.
Nice.
You'll be able to claim the shuttle at no extra cost to most locations, and then fly it back to your original ship. Once back in your ship, the shuttle will automatically return home.
That makes sense.
If your ship has been legitimately lost, though, then you'll need to claim it back. And as we'll be increasing claim timers, this will mean some ships will take longer than others, with starter or small ships always being readily available, and larger capital-sized ships taking a long time. So it's always better to try and get your ship back if possible. Okay, so we've talked about our 2 core progressions, but what does that mean to you as a player? Well, firstly, it means we have a framework where we can start creating cyclical gameplay loops. But what are they? Let me show you. Okay, so right now in live, if you have a prospector, you probably enjoy mining. And the reward for mining is credits and the enjoyment of the activity. But in 1.0, you might be mining for a whole different reason. And this is where cyclical gameplay loops come in. Firstly, let's add all the manufacturers and ships in. I'll just give you a moment to take that in, because there's a lot.
Accident hit pause, some behind you.
I actually had to ask them to take the variants out because it didn't fit on this slide.
Okay.
And let's zoom all the way into the prospector, a stalwart of the mining community. But let's say I really fancy acquiring a military Mark II Hornet. Let's go on a simplified journey of how I could get one. Firstly, I know I won't be able to buy it, as it's a military ship, so I'm going to need to craft it. That means I will need the fabrication hangar blueprint. Luckily, I can earn it by doing mining missions to gain rep with the United Resource Workers, and I already have the perfect ship, my trusty prospector. With blueprint in hand and some excess credits, I can now purchase a small plot of land on Stanton and build my fabrication hangar. Step 1, complete. Now I need to grab the Mark II Hornet blueprint. For this, I need mercenary rep, and more importantly, a combat ship. With that in mind, I will do a few more mining contracts to earn enough credits to purchase a Mustang from the dealership. Now I can start doing combat pilot missions for the Mercenary Guild, so I can unlock the Mark II Hornet blueprint. Okay, step 2 of our simplified loop is complete. I have the Mark II blueprint, but I need the resources to craft it.
How did you
So I
get
come
it?
full circle back to my prospector, but this time I'm mining for resources instead. As you can see, this closes the loop. No longer am I mining just because I like it, and there's nothing wrong with that. But now I am mining for a purpose and for multiple reasons. For credits, for reputation, for resources, for blueprints, and ultimately as a stepping stone to crafting my own ships to enjoy other professions. And this is just one of many loops. This is the core of Star Citizen 1.0. Player set goals that weave between sandbox gameplay and the soft framework we are adding that give meaning and progression to our professions and features. It's providing the framework for motivation to play the game. That's the journey, though. What about the destination?
Endgame.
So Dave has
There we
already
go. This
discussed
is what I want to hear
citizenship and the main story, so let's collapse that for now. Let's talk about endgame content. The content that is designed for experienced players and keeps them engaged. Basically, everyone in this room.
Yeah.
So how does that look in 1.0? Firstly, we'll have open world content, including missions, group missions, and server-wide events, like we have today, but tailored to endgame players.
Instanced content.
While the
fleet
sandbox
battles.
element of Star Citizen will
Yes.
allow for large-scale battles, we also want to provide challenging instanced content that will take full advantage of not only multi-crew ships,
that is so awesome.
but fleets of ships.
That's a raid
And you
right
kind of
there.
know how we do that, right? You saw that yesterday. And as you progress through the guilds, you'll be able to accept high-level contracts from government agencies who will offer prototype and military blueprints as rewards. These missions will require the full coordination of multiple players and an assorted fleet of capital, support, and fighter ships. You will finally be able to become the admiral of the fleet, directing your armada from your hollow
I'm
globe,
hoping he's talking about that
which,
one.
yes,
that
is a
Bishop
feature
was using.
included in 1.0.
Yeah. This just got pushed out 20 years.
We will also be offering more specialized on-foot missions that see you enter the depths of distribution centers and municipal works in small, tight-knit squads that provide an outlet for our more FPS-focused players. On top of all this will sit a dynamic layer powered by StarSim. While StarSim will be the driving force in our dynamic economy, it will also track player and AI activity and dynamically spawn events based on their actions. For example, if it tracks large amounts of resources being moved from one home location to another, it will have a chance to spawn pirates to intercept. All this combined will provide just a portion of the endgame experience, and I'd love to delve deeper, but
I
that's
love
for
that
another
they're
day,
doing instance
as we still have a
stuff.
lot to show.
So we can
So we've
like,
discussed
choose
non-combat
when
professions
to do
and
these
guilds,
fleet battles.
cyclical gameplay loops, and endgame PvE content. But what about
Yeah.
PvP? What about
This is what I
player
want to
versus
see. I want
player
the PvP
content?
stuff.
That's funny. I'm not PvP.
As you know, 1.0 will contain 5 star systems. 3 of these being lawful in Stanton, Castra, and Terra.
I'm not either. I think it's
and
the
2
most
of them being unlawful in Pyro and
intriguing
Nyx.
thing, though.
So what's the difference? Let's take a look at Stanton. Lawful systems will be a mixture of high, medium, and low security areas. Each of these areas will be monitored by law enforcement agencies. And depending on the location, will dictate the emergency response time, with
Controlled
high-sec
sectors.
areas being the fastest. Initially, this response will be measured, but over time will escalate to overwhelming force. This means if someone is attacked, if they can just hold out for a short duration, help will be on the way. Pirates will be able to disrupt this monitoring by shutting down the nearby comm arrays, but this will be highlighted in your star map, with dynamic missions being generated to bring it back online. But this is the PvP you already know and experience right now, just without security forces. But before we jump into an unlawful system, let's explore what options you have if you pirate a ship. Okay, so first up, let's discuss ownership.
Okay, this is what I
All
wanted to talk
ships
about.
and high-value items that you own will automatically be assigned to you. This means if someone steals your ship, you can mark it as stolen, either via an insurance claim
And they'll have to
or
hack
in your
the
Moby.
ship to be able to use it.
This will then trigger a dead man switch on the stolen ship, meaning it will cease to function after a period of time. But what options does this leave as a pirate? Well, you can still salvage it. You can tow it back to your fabrication hangar to dismantle it for resources.
Cool.
Or if you have a high enough rep with the council, our criminal guild, you can get the dead man switch
I was hoping
disabled
it'd be like you hack
and
the
pay
ship,
for a new
and
title
you have
deed
to have
to
different
become its
tier
new
hacking
owner.
cards. Use it.
Also, if you're in a lawful system, you'll need to find a transient jump tunnel, as all major locations and POIs will have the way. Let's look at the unlawful system in Pyro. Unlawful systems have no laws at all, and with that comes
Gangs,
opportunity.
Same response.
Pyro, as an example, has an abundance of high-quality resources and is a hotbed of criminal activity, the literal definition of high risk, high reward. With crafting now requiring resources, you're going to want to create bases to mine and extract them. This is where base raiding will become a new form of PvP, and it's founded on a combined arms ethos. Defending players will be able to add defenses such as walls, automated turrets, and most importantly, ground shields, a localized version of the planetary shields used in lawful systems that absorb the most powerful of weaponry. No longer can you just turn up and drop a Moab.
Good. That's like all afraid of just putting a bomb in your base. Over and over.
One huge difference, though, compared to planetary shields, is that these shields can be disabled. You will have to strategically assess each base and punch your way through its defenses on foot to eventually bring down the shield generator. Once the shield is down, then you have options. You want to raise it to the ground, you can bomb it from the air. If you want to extract all the resources, though, you'll need to infiltrate the base using explosive charges and hacking while fighting off the defenders. Now, both piracy and base raiding is founded on sandbox gameplay. And again, that's the essence of Star Citizen. But we want to add more. Something where you can log on and immediately find the action and fight for a purpose. So first up, let's go on a history lesson. In the early
This is gonna be
2600s,
interesting.
there was a fledgling corporation called SEAL that had developed a new system-wide planetary shield technology, the same technology that will provide protection for your bases today. To prove this tech, they wanted to use Nyx and Pyro systems as a testbed. With the promise of high-quality resources, SEAL lured independent miners to man the shield network in exchange for shield protection for their settlements. As a prototype, SEAL couldn't provide total coverage over all the mining settlements, and so they created the SEAL Tokens program, allowing the most industrious factions to purchase shield coverage for their work. The network consisted of multiple linked bases on the ground that then linked to several stations in orbit around each planet that then connected to the nearest relay in the shield network, which eventually linked back to the shield core, which oversaw system-wide distribution of the shield technology. Factions could then earn SEAL tokens for working on any part of the network. They could then use these tokens to buy shield coverage, but with the competition amongst factions being so intense, SEAL was only able to offer shielding to the hardest workers. Unfortunately, due to outlaw interference, SEAL eventually pulled out of Pyro and Nyx, and pushed for a more automated solution in more civilized systems. So fast forward to present day, without SEAL's backing, they had to pull out and leave it as it is. And welcome to station warfare.
I think this is going to be really cool. I think it's because I'm so tired. I'm having a hard time understanding the links, but...
With the SEAL network still in place, but lacking resources, orgs can take ownership of these structures to gain access to planetary shield tech.
Oh, okay.
Which,
Contested
as you know,
zones.
would make their bases invulnerable. Unfortunately, there's a catch. There isn't enough to go around. And as in the good old SEAL days, the system still works via the SEAL token program. To earn tokens, you'll have to assault a location and then deposit resources to power the network. This begins with ground bases and ends at the shield core. Each structure occupied will then accrue SEAL tokens over time, with larger structures earning more, and at the end of each week, you must then use these tokens to purchase shield protection. With shield coverage being limited, though, the system automatically selects the orgs with the highest bid from across all shards.
All shards.
Meaning for that week only, a certain number of orgs will gain access to shield protection. So this is a chance for your org to become the de facto leader of a system. It means you'll be able to log on and immediately find the action and fight for your org. And finally, it's not just sandbox PvP or ganking. You are fighting for a purpose. So once you've won your bid, what then? Well, to talk more about that, I'd like to welcome Ian Leyland, Star Citizen's creative
what I
director,
can't tell is
to the stage.
if your bases get a shield all of a sudden, or if it's like there's certain specific bases that you're holding.
Good luck.
Thank you.
It's...
All right, hello.
You have to connect it.
CitizenCon.
And you have to control the relay.
Thank you, Rich.
I don't know.
That's
Thank
what I
you,
thought,
Dave.
but it's week long,
to
so...
continue the conversation of large-scale endgame org
I think it's
activities,
automatically assigned.
let's go back to Pyro 3, where the ground bases were being built earlier today. This morning, we saw the small habitat being built by Luke, and then we saw Deck start to expand the base into a commercial enterprise.
Very cool.
But eventually, we saw a massive example of an org base. But with everything Rich was talking about, with org system-wide activities, we want to give you guys the ultimate end goal. But also the thing we need to protect. And to do that, let's look up into the sky and see what it is.
They're talking about. I think this is answering your question. The shield relays. Or are these are these the crafted space stations?
I think these are crafted space stations. That's funky looking. I don't like that. It's cool though. Oh wow, it's huge.
I wonder if it's fully interiorized. It looks so clean, and this is supposed to be above Pyro. I think this is the crafted space station.
Yeah, it's the crafted for sure.
It looks like it's a relay.
It looks like Subnautica.
Yeah, it does. That's right.
But so what's the point of getting the planetary thing if you have this? Is it flying? No, it's just chilling. That's pretty cool. Can we get a different skin, please?
Let me introduce you to player space stations.
Yeah, boy.
Finally, you can build your home amongst the stars. This will be the starting point for your base of operations for system-wide org activities. But why is this an end goal? Well, first of all, to construct your own space
I'm
station,
wondering if this
it's
is
going to require vast
not
quantities
like
of
ground
resources
stations where you
and
can,
materials.
like,
And
make it the way
also
you
will be a
want.
large time
I'm thinking
investment.
you just...
But how do we start?
We'll see.
Well, it all starts with the supply bay.
Okay.
And the supply bay can only be
have a
constructed
pioneer, someone do it
by
for
the
you.
pioneer. Once it's created, the supply bay then handles the creation of the station itself. Now, we're in grey box development phase, so the artwork's not final.
Okay.
But let's go on a journey and start building our space base.
Oh, so cool. All right. This is awesome.
Something to progress towards on micro and macro levels.
So wait, you can build this thing, and that's like our space station.
Yeah, this is like
Pioneer. Construction station.
Yeah. It looks like it's just going to be one model. Like.
I think that's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I bet at the end they'll show concept art for different stations.
I would be totally fine if it was just one model. At least for 1.0, and they didn't even
What
talk
was
about
that?
it. Yeah, it looks like drones. I love this new vertical resource base. Yeah, I think you were right. I think those were for sure drones. They're taking the resources and constructing the base from them. This will make buying your, if you want to do a different gameplay loop, oh look, it's actually in orbit.
That's awesome. Or is the planet spinning?
It would be spinning around the planet. Is it orbit?
Right.
Planet.
Oh, did you see the little drones zipping around?
Someone just said,
Awesome.
take my money.
Awesome. So as you saw, the cargo grid of the supply bay consumes resources. And the required resources will be substantial and will need to be topped up over time. So this means orgs will be encouraged to have efficient
This will
logistic
drive
networks
the economy.
to feed the supply bay. And as Rich outlined with professions, it's ideal if your org is well-rounded in terms of roles.
There's an output
Even
as well
the
on the right.
starter player can contribute. The supply bay
the
has
output is
automated construction
where it starts
zones,
building the
which
ring
are used to
around it.
create the station. And unlike ground bases, many drones are used at once to create the base. Once the station is built, the supply bay then integrates into the station itself.
Yeah, it's the
So
starting
here we
point of
are.
the base.
We've built our core station module. And
Core
it's big.
station module.
And out of the
Core
box, the station comes readily built with some core functionality. Let me talk you through it.
So awesome, dude. Holy crap.
Right on the top is the bridge, which is the command deck. This is where all further construction is going to be managed. From here, we can then monitor the status of the entire station. We have access to power and water management. Power and cooling is something you'll need to consider carefully. It also is an area to set permissions for who can enter particular areas, either divided by the ranks of the org itself or open to the public. And there'll be a radar station to track the activity outside the base.
Great.
And the terminals to access logs of who has visited the station and see what they did.
Ooh, in-game.
So let's jump back in game and take a stroll through our bridge.
Can you put a big old gun on it?
Big old build the Death Star.
Yeah. Destroy the planets.
There's the leader. The colors are very like Star Wars Trek. Holmes Station.
Are we gonna have NPCs?
Wondering if we have NPC security.
I think we will.
And you can upgrade their armor.
Yes, every time.
And by upgrading armor, meaning you have to supply their armor.
The ways.
Transit system goes around the ring. Other elevators. Lame.
Okay.
Super awesome. The back of the bridge leads to a centralized transit network. This spine physically connects the entire station and will provide access to the various decks. Each level in the station will have a centralized lobby area.
Nice.
And this is your station. You'll be able to use the decorator mode, so you'll have plenty of space to theme it however you want.
Great. Wow.
And speaking of having plenty of space, this space station will have a one-to-one interior layout matching the exterior. No magic elevators. So you can circumnavigate around the entire perimeter, and it's wonderful. Okay, let's jump
Probably
back in.
because they don't want to make a mobile transit system.
I don't know if they could.
Right, exactly. Dude, this is crazy.
I love that it's such a large viewing area. I love that.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of ships in the vicinity. These guys are dropping the wreck.
All right. As you can see, right at the bottom of the central transit system leads to the lower areas. This is where you'll gain access to the engineering deck. So like bigger ships, this is where all the hands-on engineering and maintenance gameplay happens. This will serve as the beating heart of your station.
If you get attacked running around.
Then we have the hangar deck. And as the name implies, this is where you'll gain access to your hangar network. The base station comes with a large hangar already built, along with 2 docking collars, and also empty slots for another 2 medium hangars when needed. There will be a vast network of internal road
Are they going to
systems,
be able to store
meaning
the
you
ship?
can quickly drive
that's what
from
he
one
means by
hangar
network, I think.
to the other. No elevators needed. Okay, let's check back in.
Okay, wait, what is it?
What happens if your ship is stored at the station and the station's attacked? I want to know if you could destroy the station.
Dude, guarantee you can. Absolutely.
This is PvP.
Because they've got modules and engineering gameplay, so yeah. They have so many, like, what are those atlases doing?
Look, ATC's not T-posing. Go into the ATC area. They have a power triangle right there.
Oh, he waved at him. That's cool. Dude, that color is really nice.
I want to be ATC.
It looks like you can be. Look.
They should have a T-pose emote.
That's hilarious. They should definitely.
And then they should add the option to stand on chairs.
They should let you pay for that.
All right, so your station hangar will offer some enhanced logistics. For example, there'll be spaces for several freight elevators. And there'll be empty modules for open ship parking for vehicles and ground vehicles. And there'll be also exit points where you can simply drive out into your station. Then there'll be also an upper level for the observation deck. From the observation deck, you'll have a control room. And from here, you'll have master control over the freight elevators and the vehicle elevators. This means that even before someone has landed, their new cargo can be up into the hangar and ready to be loaded up. Now, everything we've spoken about so far is what comes with your station. Let's talk about what you can do to expand
What you can buy from us.
As I mentioned before, the station comes with a predetermined
like
interior
a No
network
Man's Sky.
of corridors and roads. And in this network, you'll find an array of bulkhead connectors.
This is exactly how No Man's Sky
Bulkhead
does their capital
connectors
ships.
will come in tiers 1 to 3, which drives the size of room you're able to build. In the interior build mode, this is where you start to expand the interior of your station.
Yeah, but this is multiplayer.
The rooms will require resource and time to construct, and once built, you can rename each room, which will be reflected in the station's minimap.
Awesome.
The interior of your station will have ample areas for you to expand. You can build generic empty rooms, and you can fill with items to your heart's content.
Infirmaries, nice.
You can also build specialist rooms, where the theme and functionality is already set for you, such as mess halls or infirmaries or generator rooms. And of course, there are shops. So similar to the small shops we built around the ground base, this is on a much bigger scale. But that's just the interior.
Yep, you gotta defend it.
I want a Mac gun.
Let's talk about the exterior.
He just said let's talk about the exterior on my screen.
On the exterior, we have minor hard points. These are attachment points located on the upper and lower surfaces of specific functionality.
I'm live. No.
Some modules cater towards resource collection, such as gas harvesters, while others are geared towards defense, like shields or turrets.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
This goes back to bridge operations of power management. A situation may arise where power priority is needed. Then we have major hardpoints. The core station module comes with 2 hardpoint connectors. Major hardpoints are used to connect substantial wing additions to your station.
Oh.
The first example.
Oh,
Jiminy Christmas, dude.
Awesome. Thank
30
you.
years.
Awesome. The first example is the cargo wing. The cargo wing will dramatically increase your inventory capacity. So this is ideal for orgs who are specializing in holding. Then we have the refinery wing.
Wow.
So you'll be able to refine resources on a vast scale. As it's in
This is
space,
so big.
it's much more convenient than traveling to a ground base. Now, a player could buy resources from your cargo wing and then refine it directly in the refinery wing. And finally, we have the hangar wing. So, all right.
I showed a javelin landing.
No, it's on a docking
So,
collar.
the bigger your fleet, the more hangars you'll want.
But they have extra large.
There'll be a variety of hangar sizes as well as docking collars to help organize your fleet's deployment. All major hardpoint wings are connected via struts. And like the rest of the station, the
How's
struts
deadlogging
are
gonna work?
also internally traversable.
They're gonna get rid of that. Like
Okay,
necessity.
so let's recap on the exterior expansion wings.
I think if you bedlog, it'll
Minor
give you
hard
benefits.
points give us
Dude.
options
No, it
on
won't,
how to
like,
collect
teleport you
resources
around.
or provide automated defenses for your base. Major hard points gives us options on how you can specialize your base. Let's jump back in game and see how our base is getting on.
I'm shocked.
They've really taken their time to define this, and I'm very happy with it. They have not talked about skill points at all. Thank you.
That's it. We didn't see this one.
Maybe it's like a small version.
Oh, that's. Yeah, it also says cargo on it, really big.
Oh, okay.
Was that a minor wing? Maybe that was one of the minor ones.
No, this is the major purpose.
Oh, yeah. Maybe that was an old cargo wing.
Or maybe it was upside down. I don't know. Oh, look. It extends out even more. Or maybe that's just a visual. It looks like you can start off with smaller wings.
Yeah, it does.
All
Those
right.
ones were smaller.
Upgrade them.
Yes, Pedro has been working with us on this as well, so thank you. Looking cool. Customization is just as important as expansion.
Very
Similar to
good.
ground bases, you'll be able to earn
Put your
tints
org emblem
for
on
your
it.
station, and
Yep.
you'll be able to apply decals for your org logos.
Dude, yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Outside of minor and major hardpoints, your station will come with 2 unique base expansion points. One on the top side behind the bridge, and one on the underside. The top side will be for the crow's nest. Now,
radar.
all the other modules built so far have very specific functionality, but I'll admit, this is for the org members out there who want the ultimate in personal space.
I think see someone crashing into that thing.
Is
This thing has to be.
Is it a hab?
This thing must not. It must be impenetrable to like being rammed. I don't think this is going to have like maelstrom effects to it.
I think almost nothing in the game will have Maelstrom, if you want me to be honest.
Probably just debris cover.
Yeah. Interstellar. Is this literally just a room for like the org leader?
I wonder if you could decorate it with stuff.
This feels. I mean, this is awesome. This is pretty fun. I literally think it's just space.
An observation deck.
Mm-hmm. That was cool.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
That's literally all it is.
So I'm going to be flying around the verse, and I want personal invitations to see what you've done in those rooms, okay?
Oh, okay. So they're decoration rooms.
Yeah, I think so.
Super cool. I can't wait to see what you do with it.
Have
Now let's
party
talk
in there.
about the underside. This is going to be for the flight deck, which also comes with an additional 3 major hard points.
Oh.
The flight deck is perfect for your rapid reaction
So
forces.
that's where you have.
It's ideal for fighters.
Where you can store
but
your
big enough to
Idris
fit
or
most
whatever.
ships. It's the perfect home for your station's defensive air wing.
Oh, never mind. I was wrong.
And just like the hangars, there'll be an observation deck which can override freight elevators, making rearming quicker and easier during operations. So an org with a tight flight deck crew can be substantially more efficient than others. Now, this one's my favorite. Let's take a look.
Let's see. Come under attack.
The Vega system. Dun 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 dun. This is insane.
Now, and it's all in gray box already. So they thought of it and they started a concept.
Oh, yeah.
We're so
Are we gonna have those guys? No way. I don't think so. Gosh. Yeah, there's gonna be so many wrecks in there.
All right. There's a few little Easter eggs in that video. But why do you need a flight deck for your rapid defenses force?
Yeah, like the Atlas turned right
Well,
and then straight again. I don't know
if
why.
you've built your super awesome station in a super lawless system, now you're the potential targets for others. Everyone will have their eyes on your resources and wonder what gear you've got in your inventories. And let's say we didn't win the station warfare bid that Rich mentioned. Let's take a look at the inevitable.
Come on, baby. I'm so stoked. I want to see this video. You should have quantum warnings. Oh, jeez.
Are these going to be automated turrets?
The small ones are automated, the big ones are manual.
cargo flow down there. Yeah, this is the part I like. Get hacked into.
Yeah, they skipped over that part. You're like, TBD. Ooh.
The golden cat. He's got a secret weapon.
Just got all the shit.
So I'm wondering if you can't destroy the station itself.
Okay, so not only is your station a staging area for offensive campaigns, it's also a defensive fortress. The exterior of the station itself can take quite a beating. It's going to be very hard to damage. So the goal of attackers instead will be to punch a hole through the defenses and get inside. The optimal way to do this will be to infiltrate through the flight deck or EVA hatches and work your way up. Once inside, yes, once inside and you've cleared out a hangar, you may also want to consider airlifting in a tank or two to clear some corridors. Raiders will have to hack freight elevators or bulkheads in order to gain access. And of course, bring enough ships with them to start hauling out the loot. Gaining control of the bridge will allow access to storage, which would otherwise be unhackable. So, as a defender, there are a variety of automated defenses you're able to install internally within the station, such as blast doors, which seal shut, systems to be breached, and a range of turrets like anti-vehicle or anti-personnel. These will all help slow down the attack and give time for your reinforcements to show up. So let's do a final recap. This is one of the end game goals for dedicated orgs, and will be your base of operations for system-wide activities. The station can be customized both in the interior and the exterior, meaning you can tailor it to your own requirements. And it's your very own home amongst the stars. But wait.
What?
But wait.
Capital ship
There's one
crafting.
more unique module we can build.
Yeah!
And that is the dry dock.
Oh my. Wow.
This unique slot will be at the back of the station. It has its very own dedicated observation room with crafting stations, and has a transit tram which runs along the inside of the arms, leading to the docking collars where your ship will be constructed. So, the only question still remains: what sizes of ship can we build? Let's take a look.
The Kraken. Gonna show a javelin.
Dude, and since this is all resources, like you can actually
But you'll have to
build in-game.
Yeah.
So
How will we insure the ships that we build?
No,
you won't. Or you can do the
I'll just watch the end of the show.
transferable insurance. Which is fine. The orgs are going to want it anyways.
That's great. I want to see the reaction.
I want to see the reaction. This is great. I want to see the reaction. Did you hear that? Holy.
Yes.
Come on, put the decal and the org logo on it. Dude, this is gonna be insane. This is the game. This is the game.
There's gonna be so much more money now.
Everyone's gonna donate just to make this.
And they've shown a lot of great
Oh, they connected two bases. They connected two bases together. See that? They connected 3 bases together? They made 3 bases together. Man. Dude. Yes. Oh my god. That smells so big right now.
Thanks, Ian. So now we're talking. Multiple stations linking and dry docks to craft your very own capital ships. The ultimate end goal for any org.
Yep.
Okay, so let's take a step back. At the beginning of this presentation, I mentioned we had 3
That's not still
types
part
of
of 1.0,
players
is it?
and 1 universe.
That's
And
supposed to be
hopefully you
1.0.
can see
This
we
is
have
all- this is all
purposeful
stuff that's supposed to be
gameplay
in
catering to
1.0.
each type of player.
40
But
years.
that wasn't the only goal. It was to build a game that connected all 3 together cohesively.
I don't see it.
And this
I
is where
legitimately think
you
5
come
years.
in. The community, the lifeblood of Star Citizen. Whether you're a PvE player delving for unique crafting blueprints, a non-combat player mining for high-quality resources or building a base with your friends, or a PvP player fighting for your org in station warfare to protect your base, each one of you supports each other. You need the blueprints to craft, you need the resources to make them, and you need the equipment and protection to be safe.
But they didn't
This
answer
is
stuff
what
like
Star Citizen is. It's a universe that caters to all players. Now, I could probably go on for another 10 hours deep diving into each system.
But they didn't go into how hardcore PvP or PvE or anything else is going to be.
But I do Jared out of a job, and he needs future
But the
ISCs
thing
and
is,
SC Lives
and I know
and
Masalti's saying
CitizenCons.
this. What is
Today
the
was to
reason you'd wanna
reaffirm
go raid
what type of game we are making.
another base for?
And I hope you continue to
Yes.
come with us on this journey
Things that
as
we're
we march
making,
towards
but like,
Star Citizen 1.0.
I guess,
Thank you, CitizenCon, and can we welcome Chris Roberts? No?
Yeah, because if you have the resources to make,
Jared?
that, there's just no way
Okay,
you don't already have what the other people have.
so Chris is not ready yet. So we're gonna ad-lib a bit.
I'm here.
Oh, well, LTI is warranty and insurance. That's what you're gonna get.
I have it on my thing on. Yeah.
Welcome, Chris Roberts.
LTI is warranty and insurance.
Yeah, ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
So LTI is tier 2.
Oh, you don't need this, right?
Well, I
No,
know
not
they're
tier
going to
2.
scroll it. Thanks, Rich. Rich, Dave, and Ian. I hope you guys and girls loved what you saw there. It's having a definitive line in the sand is incredibly empowering for the whole team, and I think for all of you guys in the community. As I said, in introducing the presentation, we will never stop growing Star Citizen, even past 1.0. And part of what makes Star Citizen so special is the symbiotic relationship between you guys, the community, and us, the developers. And I know I can be accused of feature creep, but you only need to look at Spectrum, Reddit, and Discord to see countless great ideas and suggestions that come from people playing a live alpha and seeing areas that the game can grow and improve. And often we take these on board because they will make the game better. And in some ways, while you could say Star Citizen is a Chris Roberts game, I would say it's all our game. The developers, the community, building the game, we're all building this dream game together. And And I think that's what makes it special. I think that's why you guys and girls have been here for as long as you have and have supported us through thick and thin, because we're doing something together. And I don't think in almost any other game you have the opportunity to be involved at that level and have your voices heard and impact what we do. Because, you know, occasionally we'll do things and you guys are like, no, that sucks. And we're like, yeah, you're right, we'll change it. And also, like I said, we definitely read and
Except
look and hear
we're sticking to
all
it.
the stuff that you write.
Someone should
Some of
yell
it may not be
Masterminds.
so nice, but a lot of it is really great, and we take it aboard because we're just trying to build
Well, the Masterminds thing
this
is like
amazing universe for us all to live in together.
Key. It's a key to a door that doesn't exist
What
yet.
defining 1.0 does,
And
though, for us
so
is give us a finish
people are
line.
criticizing
It's a feature and content we are committed to
something
delivering
that
for
they haven't got a full
when
scope
your
on it,
life in the
'cause it
verse
may be
becomes
like,
truly persistent.
okay,
your
here's
gameplay
all the parts to what
progress your
Master modes
reputation, the money you earn, the material
is, does
possessions
it
you
still
collect
suck?
and earn will persist even as we deliver more content and features. And I think that's incredibly important for really finally being able to fully commit and not just go, okay, well, I'll play for a while until the next patch comes out. And it's also a game for a market for the game to be more stable, well optimized, and incredibly friendly for new players as well as experienced ones, which
50 years
you guys are. But that'll only be the start of our journey together, because the vision of Star Citizen is a game that has no sunset, one that will continually grow with new content and features. We'll always make sure we're on the cutting edge of new technology. We'll never be outdated. I know I occasionally see that, whoa,
Yeah, he is
so many years,
really
you guys
upset
will be
about
out of date. But as you can see by our constant presentations, we're always looking to make whatever we can do, whether it's the visuals, the audio, various ways to make the gameplay better. That's something we will always be working on. So we'll always keep the game at the bleeding edge of graphics, sound, physics, and yes, we'll support VR, and we actually have some of that in the background we're doing.
Yep.
Stuff.
Yep, you can just see it with the way they did it.
So,
Yeah.
so I hope you've enjoyed this year's CitizenCon. We demoed a small prologue that opens Squadron 42 live, with a few crashes to prove it. As I said, there's a really great full playthrough, no crashes, that Rich did immediately afterward that's up on YouTube. And we've given a date to finally deliver the spiritual successor to Wing Commander that the team and I feel comfortable in hitting. We've defined what Star Citizen 1.0 will be and shown features such as base building and monster hunting that will be delivering the next 12 to 18 months. 4.0 and server meshing and pyro is coming at the end of this year. We're already in Evercati on 4.0. I think with actually some people have been
Man, I was
streaming some
gonna
stuff.
give him
and in
such
coming
big
weeks, we'll
props for not giving
continually
out
stabilize and
dates
improve the
to
experience as it moves into
CitizenCon,
P2
and then there he
and
goes.
to live. With this, we will have delivered the majority of what we showed last year at CitizenCon, with the remaining features coming early next year. And there are over 1,000 people committed, 1,000 people at CAG committed to bringing you all this and more. We love what we do, and we're inspired by your passion and support. We know that we are truly lucky to have such a strong community that shares the passion and dreams we do. You allow us a privilege that almost no other developer has, the ability to dream and reach for the stars. And I truly mean that, because as a developer, it's very unusual to be able to build a game of the ambition that Star Citizen is and Squadron 42 is, and that's all down to you guys and girls. So thank you very, very much.
What's with the Brazilian flag?
And then over this past year, an incredibly passionate group of people have worked behind the scenes to bring this weekend's event to life. And I want to take a moment to thank Leah and Ed, Tyler, Jared, Kat, and so many others have poured their hearts into making this weekend special for all of you. And a huge thanks goes out to our presenters and teams supporting them, whether they're here with us today or watching from one of our other studios around the world. In the words of Admiral Bishop, I'm proud to stand with our teams and everyone that put this show together. And all of the CAG staff working on the show floor, your hard work ensures everything runs smooth and keeps the energy alive throughout the event. And finally, a heartfelt thanks to the community members who volunteered their time to run this year's show. None of this would be possible without their dedication and support. I thank all of you very, very much.
the sound of that clap.
And many of us in the team are gonna, myself included, are gonna head down the road to the Factory International for the Enter the Atmosphere event that Atmos is doing. So I hope a fair number of you will manage to make it over there. There'll be a whole night of racing and esports, a bonus developer panel with Yogi Klatt and Richard Towler, which I think are, as always, they're good panels. And with that, Citizen 2954 comes to a close. I hope you enjoyed what you saw, made new friends, reunited with old ones, and marveled at the creativity on display at the community booth, which was pretty awesome to see. And CitizenCon always underlines what makes Star Citizen special. So that's you. You guys here coming together, supporting, watching,
right. Well,
giving
I'm
us
glad
the
they
team the
defined
energy
the game.
to make this game. So thank you. And
Oh man, a
we'll
Bengal.
see you in the
They
verse.
said that it wasn't going to be in the game.
Man, that's crazy. See you in the verse. Sure. That's 2.0. It one-shots the bases.
I really hope they do like
I hope they
really
do.
want to see like what do they say, the naval warfare. I really want that to have a lot of like reason to go do that. Like I would love to see, hey, you're gonna go fight Vandal, or there's a very large pirate, NPC pirate. Like, oh, like maybe one of the end goals is to take out the major, what is it? Ninetales, or not Ninetales, Xenothreat, or something like that. Like Xenothreat has a very large fleet, and
Like
you can
kill them forever.
like I'm thinking of like how WoW does raids. It's basically their raid is like you go into the instance and you go through the raid, and at the end there's gear that drops for your character. I could totally see this being like your org is you've progressed through missions to a point where, and I would love to see like org progression, like storyline. Like your org has a task to, like the Ninetales their fleet is going somewhere or something, and you're gonna meet up and you're gonna have a big fleet battle. And their main
Is that
ship, like how the Squadron 42 battle was.
Yeah, like the instanced stuff is probably gonna be that. Vandal battles and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and I love that they're making it instant so that it sounds like you choose when to engage this fight, so that you give you basically get on with your org. Hey, we're gonna go do this fight on this day of the week. We need to prepare for it. Like, let's get all our ships geared up. Let's get all our armor geared up. Let's plan our attack or whatever. And then you're like, okay, we're gonna go start the instance. You get in your party and you go to a waypoint, and that waypoint, all quantum travel there at the same time, and you fly in, and it's instanced. So the fact that you could start it whenever, it's not, you have your own timer, and I like that. That's very PvE. And you board these capital ships of the NPCs. You get through. You're able to extract whatever really valuable resource they have. But the question is what are those resources going to be? What's the goal, other than there has to be a reason for you to go do these battles? That's what I'm trying to figure out what it is. In WoW, it's you go do the battles, you get titles, but you also get dropped gear for your character.
Right, but what's the point of getting better gear for your character?
For fun.
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
There's an end to something. There's always the end to it. Which,
there will, in my opinion, what's going to happen is once they drop 1.0, they're also going to drop like little stories and quote expansions and stuff like
Mhm.
Vandal are attacking here, and you can then choose to engage with that story and go do the fleet battle and whatever.
Yes,
I kind of totally see it going down that route.
Well, here's another big thing. It was in WoW. It was bragging rights was the big thing. Like the reason to go do the raid was see who could do it first, who could get it done, and then it was like, okay, now there's hard mode, and like maybe you could do, and I'm thinking there are these fleet battles. It'll be like, oh, there's a harder fleet battle or whatever. But you can always in WoW you could always go back and do the same fleet battle. You could or the same raid. Like the next week, you'd reset.
Yeah, I'm sure they will have that exact same thing here, which is cool. I mean, that's neat.
This would be awesome. You do your fleet battle, and you are trying to extract valuable ship components to build your Bengal.
Yeah. Yep. And then why do you want to build a Bengal? Oh, hey, the Star Lancer. So the Star Lancer, this is a shipbuilding thing, right?
I don't think they have the shipbuilding variant.
Which one's the TAC? Okay, the Max is the freighter. The TAC is the attack one.
Yeah, let's see. I had it on there. Star Lancer. So if I go to pre-order, there is the Star Lancer Max Plus, the Twin Pack, okay, here we go. Star Lancer Max, the Twin Pack. What's in the Twin Pack? I'm looking at paints. What is the Twin Pack?
I like this new ship page. It's pretty sweet.
Here it is. Here's the... Oh, here we go. Star Lancer Max, CitizenCon, $225. 10-year insurance, $250. I can upgrade to this ship. And this is the Max, and then the TAC is the attacking. And then variant matrices, here we go. They just had the Mac and the TACs at the moment. And then they actually have a spot for the third one with brackets. It's not in yet because it's the shipbuilding variant.
The Max is flight ready. Last updated 2 minutes ago.
Yep, they said it was ready to go. Same thing with that ground vehicle. That's ready to go.
Huh.
The Argo CSV, that is drive now ready. More info. Just a little cargo ground vehicle. Very smaller boxes. I like that they're showing a lot of these, or they're having stuff that's ready right now.
Dude, the Star Lancer is the same price as the Corsair. The Cutlass steals $235. Oh my god. That's insane. Wow, that's pretty cool.
With a cargo capacity of 224. What's the cargo capacity of the Corsair?
I don't know. I'm not sure. All right. Well, I think I'm gonna pack up and maybe try to catch
Hey, look at Look at
hour or
this.
so of sleep.
Star Lancer Max will be available in game, and Star Citizen Alpha 3.24.3. Did they come out with a 0.3 patch already?
It's probably wouldn't that be the IAE or something like that?
Oh, that's probably right. Yeah.
Which when is that? It's like
Degraded performance. We're working on resolving issues. I know.
Well, Danny,
Okay, so-
thanks for hanging out and watching that with me. That was fun. We woke up early.
That was worth. That was much better than day one, I think.
Oh yeah, that was neat. It was like so recapping like what?
So we did base building and crafting, and that sounds like that'll be in the game in maybe a very small variants of it within the next year. He said
maybe
12 to 18 months. But I'm hoping they don't just drop like, oh, here's all of base building right now all at once. I would like to be able to have crafting in the game like sooner than later. And then
but they have to lock all that behind the paywall. I mean, by the time the rep walls and stuff and like get all those loops going. So
I mean, they probably will change it as the game progresses. It'll probably be like you can just, because they do that with everything else. Everything else gets changed. I mean, all of Daymar and Delamar were in the game, and then they moved it. Same thing with the sandworms.
Right.
They weren't supposed to be in Pyro. They're supposed to be in a totally different system, but they're adding it into Pyro, which looks like that's going to be in really soon.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting for sure. All right, bro. All right, guys, I'm going to end the stream. Thanks for hanging out. See you in the verse.